All right. Sorry about the delay. Just had to get a couple things squared away. Doc, you said you had to be right back for macaroni. Understandable. Let me turn my music down. Your boy Stampede is getting a little bit of a headache starting up, so I'm getting ahead of it right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and take a pain pill. By that I mean a Walmart ibuprofen, acetaminophen, by the way. Tylenol, whatever. Hello, Dr. Red. How have you been, dude? Another fresh cut on deck. I'm liking it this time around. I also, for the first time in a while, actually like straight shaved. Like actual razor to face and shit, so. Dr. Crazy accidentally took like 5 times the pain pills he should have taken. How? How do you accidentally do that? That would be my immediate question. We got to get him on the podcast so I can ask him the question, dude. We got to get him on the podcast. He said something like he needed 500 milligrams and he thought the pills were 100 each. Get him on the cat. Oh, God. Well, I wasn't being serious, but actually thinking about getting him on a podcast, it could be the biggest disaster. He's not what they call brand friendly. You know, he likes to scream a lot. He likes to be inappropriate. He's a brand risk, actually. He's the exact opposite of brand friendly. It would, not could, exactly. Yes, see, you already know where I'm going with this. You know the risk. No, I swear, it's so weird, man. Like, do you feel this way because you do stream frequently? Do you feel like if you have been gone for even one day, it feels like you've been gone for a week? That's what it's like for me. Every time I go live, I feel like I haven't been live in a week, even though I was live on Monday night. Like, what the fuck? And I think it also has to do with the fact that Monday night, we primarily just talked about drama. Like, I didn't plan for it to turn out that way. Honestly, I didn't. But that's just kind of how it went. But it wasn't like it was complete derailment. Like, it was on topic with what we were discussing. So I wasn't just making stuff up, you know? Monday night, we primarily just talked. Okay. I was just making sure the YouTube stream wasn't delayed. So, if watching on YouTube, by the way, disclaimer, be sure you select 1440p because 1080p is kind of shitty. So, doesn't look that good. But if you jump up to 1440p, the quality should be fine over there. Well, yeah. Also, by the way, not to get on this topic again, but did you see that Rich went on DSP's stream today? Yeah, so DSP had Rich on the stream. And, well, if you're okay with it, I can spoil it really quick. Okay, so DSP had Rich on, and DSP is now trying to claim that he was basically playing 4D chess and he was tricking Kino Casino the whole time that they were working together. Now he's saying things like, I had this planned from day one, and things like that. And Rich wasn't buying it. He's like, Phil, I don't believe you. This is bullshit. There's no way that you're going to try to pull this. And DSP just got tired of him not being interested in like him trying to reveal this master plan, and so he just kicked Rich out of the Discord once he realized that he was looking stupid. Rich is like, dude, I hate Kino Casino. He's like, I don't care about this. Why am I even here? And then Phil just immediately kicks him without even saying anything, and then just continues. So It was something, dude, that's for sure. So, anyways, yeah, somehow that little sound effect video I made has now hit 30k views. I don't know how that's happened either. I can't explain it. I certainly don't think that it was a good video or anything, but I do think that it spoke to a lot of similar like-minded people to me, where when we hear certain things like that, we just find it interesting. It's not like earth-shattering discoveries. Nobody said that it was. Good content finds us on. Yeah, I mean, true. I just think that, like, perfect example, let me show you this comment. I was just talking to Bridget about this comment earlier. One of the most recent comments on this video says, "Yes, I can finally tell this to someone who actually cares." Okay? I mean, that's like the perfect example of who this was made for. People like me, who if we went up to the average person, they'd be like, okay, and? But there are people out there that care about this stuff, man. Like here, look at this comment. This comment's fucking awesome. "Yes, I can finally tell this to someone who actually cares. In the movie Tokyo Gore Police, there's a scene around 47 to 48 minutes in the movie in which some brain dude gives the protagonist a key or something, and then a subtle track starts playing, and I believe that is the same sample used on the Meltdown track from Silent Hill Origins, one that sounds like a guitar with a lot of reverb." You know? That is exactly why I made this video, is for people like this. And I think that's fucking awesome. By the way, I'm just fixing this scene here by putting myself in the middle. There we go. But anyways, yeah. So that's why I think that video is quote unquote doing well, is because it speaks to a lot of similar minded people. Honestly, yeah. So the fact that they're over 100 views. So basically, the way I think about it is, if a video stays under 50 views, it's probably not being seen. But once it hits over 100, I can guarantee that people outside of like my own Discord and my friends that I've linked it to are clicking on it. So the Walter Sullivan one is at 208 and the Silent Hill F one's at 166. So in my mind, that's awesome. That means they're being seen and clicked on by people that are not just like my inner circle of you know, acquaintances and stuff. So I'm happy with that. Super happy with it. And again, we're just going to continue. Like, I'm just getting faster and faster at video editing now, so it's not going to be... Hey, what's up, Malum? Oh, Malum, you are going to be interested in this. So my next video that I'm actually going to be collaborating on with Future Mute is going to be an in-depth, and when I say in-depth, I mean we're covering everything. Every single connection, reference, motif, story beat that is shared between Silent Hill 1 and 3. And I already sent Future a list of the first things that are like surface level that we're going to talk about. Both characters being in a forced or scripted death sequence at the beginning of the game and then waking up in a restaurant/cafe. Let me see. Yeah, that I think it's gonna be a really good video, dude. I hopped back on Ultra Rumble, and not gonna lie, season 9 is clean, much better than the dumpster fire I left it as. Season 7 and 8 was rough. Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't played a competitive game in a very long time. I played Counter-Strike, but I just play like deathmatch. I don't play competitive queue or anything like that. Let's see. I was talking to him about another one. Okay, the first melee weapon you have being the knife that Harry Mason picks up in the cafe, the knife that Heather has on her, which is like a switchblade for self-defense. The first one you find being a steel pipe, waking up in a restaurant at the start after a scripted death sequence, an exposition dump occurring after a boss fight on what you could assume is the same carousel. You know, the memory of Alessa boss and the Sybil fight. The lead pipe being found in the sewer. Both games have like a beginner's trap style death if you don't use the ring of contract on the fridge during the nowhere sequence at the end, or if you don't throw the hairdryer into the sewers. They both have that shared between them. There's a lot of things. You know, the final bosses being false or incomplete versions of the god after Aglophidus interrupted the summoning and it was severely weakened. You know, there's a ton. What's up, Malum on YouTube? So let me explain really quick, Malum. I did have multi-chat up here. I had both. In fact, I can show you right now. If we enable multi-chat, I'll pull it up right now. It is called Social Stream, and it's a plugin that you just literally click, find, activate, activate. Okay. So now I can go here and just type multi-chat in YouTube. There it is. And then I can go to Twitch and type multi-chat. No, there's nothing inherently wrong with multi-chat. So you can see I can chat from both platforms. The problem is that apparently this is against Twitch's terms of service to do this. And I went over that on Monday. Like someone in the community, Benjomint, he's been a reg here lately. He reached out to me. Yeah, Multipass, Fifth Element. Fucking awesome movie, by the way. He reached out to me and let me know that apparently it is against Twitch terms of service. And the reason for that is very simple. They don't want you to combine chats from other platforms if it's not made explicitly clear that it's not all coming from Twitch, because if someone types something that's against terms of service on YouTube, or they type something that's against TOS on Kick or whatever, and it's all here, then the person watching unsuspectingly might think that the chatter came from Twitch. Okay, so if you're going to have chat on screen and you're streaming on Twitch, it has to be exclusive to Twitch. YouTube doesn't care, Kick doesn't care, but Twitch does care. So now here is like the conundrum with this, if you will. There are very, very large streamers who do this and don't ever receive warnings. They don't get suspended. And I asked two very large, trust me when I say very large, we're talking like 6-figure follower streamers, okay? Some of them on their way to 1 million followers. I asked them, like, have you ever been warned? Because on the screen it says that Twitch will warn you before they action on your account. And they were like, no, I know it's like, and I know it's kind of against their TOS, but I've never been talked to about it. And until I'm warned, I'm not going to turn it off. So I think, like, should I just leave it on? And if nothing happens, nothing happens. Like, who gives a shit? I guess it should be fine, realistically. I mean, I already have it on all my scenes. It's just a matter of enabling or disabling it. So maybe I just leave it on. But, you know, last stream I kind of turned it off because I meant to tell you this, but from my knowledge, Twitch doesn't like it when Twitch streams are uploaded on YouTube until like 48 hours. I don't know if this applies to dual streaming, but you might want to keep the VODs private on YT for a couple days. Oh, yeah. Now, I know about that. That's only if you stream exclusively to Twitch, but good call. Simulcasting, as they call it, doesn't count because whatever you stream to the other platform is its own thing. But yes, you're right. If I was streaming on Twitch only and I was uploading the VODs like right after I finished, then yes, I would be in violation of that. It's just that whatever stream you do to Twitch has to stay on Twitch for X amount of time. But if you're also streaming to another platform, that becomes null and void because it's not exclusive to Twitch, you know. But you're not wrong. Dude, it was the video was literally at 30k views like an hour ago and it's already at 31k. So I swear, you know what's so weird about this, you guys? When that original Silent Hill Community Needs to Stop video kind of blew up out of nowhere and it's at 145k views, which is fucking insane. Whenever that happened, I almost feel like you have to wait out a video in the algorithm, you know what I mean? Because I uploaded a video basically right after that, talking about the dark age of Silent Hill, which was after the dissolution of Team Silent and stuff like that. And it got a couple thousand views, which was still crazy for my channel, but it almost felt like the previous video was being pushed so hard in the algorithm that nothing else was going to make it through. So sometimes with YouTube, even though this sounds counterintuitive, it's almost like you need to wait out. You almost need to wait until a video stops getting traction before you upload again. You know what I mean? Because it's like if you upload another video, it's just going to be buried by the one that's getting shown to everybody right now. You know, it's weird. And the usual you know, the usual thought process you would subscribe to is I should just upload everything as often as I possibly can. But that's not always the case. That's not how it works in all scenarios. Anyways. So yeah, this week is pretty quiet for me. I don't really have a ton going on. But next week is going to be a very busy week because I'm going to have a lot of work-related stuff to get done. And I'm talking like my full-time job. So it's going to be pretty busy. But I do still intend to do my 3 days a week streaming. And I'm also probably going to try to get Friday of this week off so that I can, you know, get a couple more YouTube videos shot. Do you mind if I post a combo I did on once? Yeah, go for it, dude. Yeah, the mantra used to be crank out a bunch of videos in quick succession in order to maintain traction, but now the algorithm punishes anyone who has a high bandwidth. Yeah. Because the way that it works now is, like I said, it's like the algorithm pre-selects 1 or 2 videos that you've made, and it just pushes those. And, you know, you see the views climbing or whatever, you're like, what the hell happened? And then you upload another video and it's like buried under the previous video that you've uploaded because the previous one is still working its way through the algorithm. So that becomes a weird thing for me because I like to consistently upload, but it feels like you're punished for doing that because you're burying 4 videos under one video's algorithm, you know what I mean? Or one video's, what would you call it? Its presence on the platform or something like that. You know what I mean? Shit, I didn't open this in Chrome. Let me do that. In Chrome. What is this outfit, dude? Emo bird, that's what I was gonna say. Emo, like Donald, or emo Daffy Duck, dude. Fumikage Tokoyami. I have no idea what's going on here. But this game plays a lot like the Budokai Tenkaichi games that I used to love on PS2. Dragon Ball Z games. Is this gonna get to 100? Dr. Red, you know what, Dr. Red, you cheated not only the game, but yourself. Yeah, I'm just going to say it. You cheated not only the game, but yourself. You didn't grow. You didn't improve. You took a shortcut and gained nothing. You experienced a hollow victory. Nothing was risked and nothing was gained. It's sad that you don't know the difference. That copy pasta is still legendary, by the way. That combo would never ever work online. Yeah. No, it's just a stupid copy pasta. Like many years ago. Do you guys know the game Sekiro? It's by the same company that did Elden Ring and Dark Souls and all that shit. FromSoft. They made a game called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. And a journalist posted that he cheated to beat the game. And he was proud of it. He's like, I cheated to beat Sekiro and I don't feel bad about it. That was the stupid like clickbait title of the article. And that response was like the most gamery, cringe, over dramatic response ever to that article being posted. You cheated not only the game, but yourself. You didn't grow. You didn't improve. You took a shortcut and gained nothing. You experienced a hollow victory. Nothing was risked and nothing was gained. And you know what? It's sad that you don't know the difference. Holy. Demolished that man into irrelevancy, dude. You guys like my jack-o'-lantern coffee cup? Because as I love to say, it's spring, and you know I like to stay current. Look at that. Anyways, I'm glad to be here, I gotta say. I've been, I've been plotting on some fun things to do on stream here lately, and you know what? Everybody keeps telling me that they've been absolutely loving the Nightmare Fuel segments here lately, so that's exactly what we're gonna give them. Nightmare Fuel is at the forefront of my live stuff because everybody seems to love it. And on top of that, I really want to get back to doing some interviews. But I have been enjoying making content more this year than I have in the past like 3 or 4 years because we're not just Twitch all day, every fucking day. My entire life is live streaming on Twitch. You know what I mean? We're uploading actually decently edited YouTube videos now, focusing a lot harder on that front. And the people seem to like it. The YouTube, the YT frogs, as it were, they seem to enjoy the content I'm putting up. So we're going to keep it going. I'll tell you, bro, what the fuck? I didn't see the redeem. What happened? Who redeemed that? Oh, what's up, Stoned? Dude, the redeem didn't come through. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, we are, there's a lot of exciting videos in the works. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm working on 2 videos, or I'm soon to be working on a second video with Future. The first one is the Silent Hill 1-3 Connections video, and then the second one, I'm going to keep that under wraps for now because it's very exciting. But basically, we're just waiting to plan a good time to jump on a call and start working on these. So, very exciting. Future has a very good commentary voice. He actually showed, a video that he was working on about different animation types and like different nationalities' takes on certain types of animation. And it was so fucking good, dude. I think Future easily has me in the editing department. I'm not going to say who I think has a better commentary voice because it's all relative. It doesn't fucking matter. Either one of us can do a great job. But I think that his strength is definitely in editing. Like, his editing is phenomenal. So I think it would be cool for me to like do the audio aspect of it, and he wants to do the video aspect, but it's interchangeable. We could do either one. We could do either or. I could capture all the footage for him and like Dropbox it to him or something like that. Speaking of Delta, when is that supposed to come out, Stone? It's like Metal Gear Solid Delta. August 28th. Wow, that's actually sooner than I would have thought. Okay. They already have the PlayStation 5 copy on pre-order on Amazon. The Tactical Edition for $70 dues. Yeah, August 28th is the current. I mean, it's still a few months out, so obviously there's still a chance that they might delay it further. But that's fairly close. So they dropped a trailer thing for it recently. Yeah, see, I don't have a problem with delays because I believe it was Miyamoto, the Nintendo Miyamoto, who said like, a game that's delayed several times will eventually come out and be great, but a game that's rushed and released before it's ready will always be bad. So it's always better to delay a game multiple times than it is to just throw it out there. Because look at Cyberpunk, okay? Cyberpunk is the perfect example of a game that is great. The bones of Cyberpunk are amazing, okay? But because the launch was so botched and it was so laughed at and the reputation got so destroyed in that first month or so after release, there's people that just won't bother with it. Because it doesn't matter how good it is now, they already missed their window of opportunity to play it when it was new and exciting and whatever like that. That window was ruined because of bad decision making. So there's plenty of people out there that I'm sure would love Cyberpunk if they gave it a shot, but they're not willing to play it because, you know, the launch got ruined. And that just is what it is. That's why AAA gaming is polluted with patch it later culture. Yeah. And, you know, we have the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 era to thank for that. Because before the PS3 and the Xbox 360, console internet connections were not good enough to patch games. You okay? Console internet connections were not good enough to patch games. You had like a PS2 FAT, you had to get the network adapter, and that shit was like DSL speeds. The original Xbox had broadband, but it maxed out at like 10 down and 2 up was like the maximum connection speed you could get on that thing. So for all intents and purposes, console internet speed was dog shit before the 360 PS3 generation. So you could download map packs, you could download, you know, little bits. Like I remember the Halo 2 and the Rainbow Six 3 map pack were the first 2 pieces of DLC I ever purchased on a console. And it was like, whoa, you can just download new content for your game right there. It's so fucking crazy, man. But then when the 360 and PS3 came out, they had good enough network connectivity right on board that they could patch games. And these could be like potentially multi-gigabyte updates. Yeah, they might take a while. Most infamously, probably Silent Hill HD Collection on day fucking 1, by the way, had like a 3.2 gig patch or something, which was almost the size of one of those entire fucking games, which was just embarrassing. But that's just the way it was, you know? We accepted the shit because we had no choice. It's like, well, what am I going to do? Play it unpatched and even shittier than this botched patch is going to make it? No, obviously you're going to patch the game, but that doesn't mean that the game is going to be playable or good after that happens. And obviously things only got worse because on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, they got really fast. I mean, those things are like 250, 300 megabits down on a wired connection. And I have fiber, by the way. My Xbox One on a wired connection gets like 400 megabits down. I mean, that's crazy good speeds for a gaming console. So, you know, to Microsoft's credit, everybody shat on them at the time because of their always online decision making. But they were talking about a product that would be viable for at least 10 years. And the Xbox One came out 12 years ago. It's still an amazing like gaming and video streaming box. It really is. It's got really good hardware to power like video apps like Netflix, Amazon Instant, and all that shit. And it also is really good at playing 360 games. That's what I primarily use it for. I can still pop in my copy of Downpour and play it. Now, whether or not that's a good decision, it ain't. But I can do it. Hey, dude, speaking of which, I actually wouldn't mind to play some Downpour. Been playing Xenoverse 2, and I think it has like $80 of DLC. Yeah, back to my actual point instead of me just yapping endlessly about other things. The PS3 and 360 era taught them that they can release a game that's not quite finished and then just patch it later. So they can meet every deadline in the book now, as long as they push the game out early enough, but whether or not it's going to be a playable, optimized experience, it's a crapshoot. You don't know. So invest your money and risk it. Nah, fuck that. You know, and I think the biggest indicator of that's going to be GTA 6. When GTA 6 comes out, episodically full price content is awful too. Oh yeah, for sure. Like every episode of a game coming out at $40. Fuck that, dude. One that actually did it correctly was Life is Strange Season 1. I don't know anything about the payment schemes for Season 2 or anything like that because I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I don't plan on playing Season 2. But Season 1 I loved. Season 1 of Life is Strange was an episodic game that came out in 2015. That was genuinely like my game of the decade. I loved that shit so much. And I still do. It's still good to go back and replay it. Unfortunately, they did a really bad job on a remaster of it. So play the original version, but they did that correctly. It was 5 episodes. Every episode at launch was $15. Perfectly fair. That's perfectly fair in my mind. You know, by the time you've paid for 5 episodes, $75, that's fair. You know, considering that the length of the gameplay across those 5 episodes is pretty good. I'm okay to pay $15 an episode, but it's when they start doing like 25 an episode, 30 an episode. I mean, nah, that's getting a little bit ridiculous. I think you're talking about Siren Blood Curse, I believe. Siren Blood Curse, I believe, was an episodic downloadable PlayStation 3 edition. I don't think it was on Xbox. That's the one? Yeah. That one was really bad, by the way. It was unfortunate, but it was terrible. I knew from the moment I booted it up and the first voice I heard was goddamn Yuri Lowenthal, who's like right up there with Troy Baker in terms of the most overcast American anime dub actors. I knew it was going to be terrible. Like, I boot the shit up and instantly I hear fucking Yosuke from Persona 4. I'm like, dude, come the fuck on. Please stop with this shit. Oh yeah, dude, one of the biggest problems with the PlayStation 3 is that the network hardware got better the more they released. But unfortunately for me, I never had a reason to get a PS3 Slim until way later because my fat PS3s were still working just fine. So if you had a fat PS3, your download speed was capped at like 20, whereas someone who had a Slim could go all the way up to 90. So, you know, you could both have PlayStation 3s and one of you could have a significantly faster connection. I remember buying GTA 5 digitally when it came out because I didn't want to go somewhere. I hadn't ordered it on Amazon or anything. So I just bought that shit digitally and downloaded it. I think I sat there for 9 hours because it was a fat PS3 that was downloading. I think I sat there for like 9 hours while the whole game downloaded. It was crazy. So I fell asleep. I had time to take a nap. I had time to get back up and it was like 6 a.m. I started the download at midnight. I just sat there and watched it for ages, watched other people playing it. I was watching like the GameSpot live stream of it and the fucking IGN live stream of it, and they were all popping off going crazy. Who actually at the time, like streamer wise, was actually playing it? I can't even remember. I'm sure Man vs. Game was probably playing it at that time. Waiting all weekend for Battlefield 3 to download, yeah. Oh, you know what the most hype I've ever been for something downloadable was? Fucking Shivering Isles, the Oblivion DLC. Oh my god, dude, that was fucking hot. Whenever Shivering Isles came out, me and all my friends were like, we are on that shit day fucking one. And let me tell you what happened. Folks, gather around because this is a really tragic story. It was a school night. You know, much like any other night, it was a school night. And I bought it. It was like $15, whatever. With Microsoft points. I think it cost me like 2,000 Microsoft points or whatever currency bullshit they had going at the time. So I sit there and, you know, I didn't have like a strict bedtime or anything, but I was having a lot of trouble waking up at the time. So my parents were getting stricter on me about going to bed at the right time. So I'm sitting there waiting. I lose track of time. The game finishes and I'm all hyped to play it. I'm getting ready to launch it. My mom comes in. It's like, you need to go to bed. It's like midnight. She's like, I'm not messing around. Go to bed right now. I was in 7th grade, so I had no say in the matter. Tragic time. So I had to go to school the next day and listen to all these chuckle fucks who got a chance to play it, even if just for a few hours. And I had to sit there and pretend that I did, even though I didn't. Tragic. True. You know, this is an example of modern day tyranny, is what this is. I don't care if it was 2007, dude. This shit was tyranny. And I'm still not over. I don't think I've ever gotten over it. I don't think I ever will. I'm going to choose to never get over it, by the way. But let's be real. Shivering Isles was one of the best DLCs, like, ever. Dude, it was amazing. No say in the matter. Go super... Actually, Dr. Red. Gotta push up my glasses for this one. The correct pronunciation would actually be Saiyan, because in Japanese it's Saiyajin. So if you were going to be accurate, it actually is Saiyan. The people who dubbed Dragon Ball Z didn't have a fucking clue what they were doing, though, so they mispronounced everything. Just like Kaioken is named that because of Kaio-sama, or King Kai, but in the American version they changed it to Kaioken. Like, they just didn't know what the fuck they were doing. All the pronunciations are all fucked up and everything. It's bad. I watched the sub, that's why it's called SSJ. You redeemed yourself, Dr. Red. You redeemed yourself. I used to be so confused. I used to go into comic stores when I was super young, because my dad was always into collectibles. Like, I remember one of the first sets I ever saw him buy was actually the The Kaneda bike from Akira. He bought like the statue of him standing there with the bike, and they both had like these holes where you could put them on a statue. And I remembered going into the comic store and seeing all these Dragon Ball Z figures, and I saw SSJ, and I was like, what does SSJ mean, man? Because I'd only watched it on Cartoon Network. I had no idea. But I know now. I once was blind, but now I see. Ah, man, Shivering Isles was amazing. Halo 3 had some awesome DLC with the map packs and stuff. Call of Duty 4 had a decent map pack. Modern Warfare 2 had a really good map pack with like the trailer park and the amusement park maps. I went back to read some Super and it's still just tournament arcs. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super for me never really did it. The animation especially was really bad. I swear, if AI had been around when they first started making Dragon Ball Super, they would be using it. Like, the animation is so bad. It's like the same punch just over and over and over as the characters are flying around. And I'm not even trying to be like a purist, but obviously the original Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball were way more difficult to make because they were all hand-drawn and the keyframes were all hand-drawn and shit, so they're not going to be doing that nowadays because it's too much effort and it takes too much time, but in my mind it gave it a lot more charm, and I would much rather rewatch original Dragon Ball Z than Super any fucking day of the week. Any day of the week. Yes, the cell animations are beautiful, and there's just so much like impact. Like one of the best. Well, I can't even talk about this fight because it's a spoiler. Bridget hasn't seen past the cell arc, but yeah. Anyways, there's a very particular fight between two very popular characters that has some of the best animation of like the entire series, but it happens after the cell arc, so I can't talk about it. If you watch one thing from Super, just watch Super Broly. It's the best Dragon Ball ever looked and is honestly an excellent modernization of Broly. Dude, do you guys remember the drama around the American actor for Broly that happened around the time that that movie came out, Vic Mignogna? Do you guys remember all that shit? That was crazy. Basically, Dragon Ball Super came out. Vic Mignogna had voiced Broly for many, many years. No. So here's the weird part. No, he was not a PDF file, as people like to say now. But he did find himself in a lot of drama because he was engaged to a lady and he was sleeping with fans at conventions. Like, he was inviting them up to his room and doing questionable things. Like, he was basically being like a playboy, even though he was engaged and he was like 49 years old at the time. Like, just shit that you should not be doing, you know? And he basically, there was like this big hashtag that started called Kick Vic. And they basically got him fired from like everything he was working on. They said that he was also kind of being a little bit too touchy with some of his coworkers, doing some weird shit. So yeah. He started like a defamation lawsuit. There was a big Kickstarter to get it funded, and it actually ended up making like $300,000. Like, he got a huge Kickstarter for his legal fund. And something weird happened. Like, it didn't actually go to court. It was like they went to some smaller court and they ruled against him, and he ended up losing it. And basically he just kind of disappeared and got fired from everything. And yeah, he's on the hook for like the people who ruined his reputation. He's on the hook to pay their legal fees now because it went so badly against him. So here's a comprehensive overview from Reddit, by the way, so take it with a grain of salt. In early 2018, Vic was accused of, hey, what's up, John? Stamp Jones? What do you mean? Oh God, no, you're talking about Austin Jones? Oh my God. We need to watch a video about Austin Jones. That dude was fucked up in so many different ways. He was like asking underage fans to twerk and shit for him. He's actually still going to be in prison until 2027. Oh, Alex Jones. What about me? Screamed Alex Jones. I can't even do the Alex Jones voice. I don't have anywhere near the gravel in my voice to do that. No. Tangy tangerine. He sells tangy tangerine, so I have to like lean down and get into my shittiest, graveliest voice. He sells a supplement called Tangy Tangerine that apparently restores your testosterone levels and makes you a fucking alpha male. God, he literally sells so much bullshit. Anyways, paying the legal fees. So I'm talking about actually an American anime dub industry controversy with a guy named Vic Mignogna. He was famously the voice of Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. He was the voice of Broly in the Dragon Ball Z movies, of which I think there's 4 total Broly movies. It's like Broly Returns, Bio Broly, and then the new one that came out just a couple years ago for Super. Anyways, this is an overview from Reddit. In early 2018, Vic was accused of sexually harassing fans and female coworkers, specifically Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi, corroborating the accusations of fans and stating they too were harassed by him. Sony performed an internal investigation, fired him as a result. He has been blacklisted from the voiceover business ever since. Additionally, Vic has tried to sue Sony, Funimation, and others multiple times, and his suits have all been dismissed by the courts. Now, should he be let back into the business? I'm not sure. Seemingly what he did was pervasive, and he only showed an inkling of remorse when he was caught. Could someone like that change and improve? I think so. So yeah, that's the meat and potatoes of it, so to speak. And really awkwardly, the entire deposition is available online. Like his entire deposition, Monica's, and Monica's husband, partner, I don't know, named Ron Toye. All of those are like available in full length. Then they're like hours long each of them, just answering questions about everything related to the lawsuit. So. But anyways, yeah. That's only one, and I'm not saying that because of this I don't like American dub actors. Let me make that clear. It was more like I didn't like American dub actors before all this went down, but while it was going down, it just divided everybody into us versus them. It was like, if you want more information about this and if you want to, this investigation to go smoothly and you want to learn the truth, you're a piece of shit and you're a whatever sympathizer. And, it just divided people so much. And the voice actors and actresses themselves weren't helping because they were just throwing gas on the fire every chance they could, like throwing jabs at events and stuff and kicking people out of events if they were showing up in support of him and stuff. It was just a very stupid situation. Being 49 and messing around is just being a nuisance in general while being engaged. He's likely not sorry at all. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, look, what he was doing at those conventions and stuff wasn't illegal. It wasn't. I mean, it was adults. We're talking 22 and 23-year-olds, but you have to think about the dynamic in that situation. He is an established voice actor in the industry. They are just fans. In some cases, they were doing cosplays. So obviously he has the power in that power dynamic. He's the quote unquote celebrity in this situation. So while what he was doing wasn't illegal, it was very fucking stupid. And he shouldn't have been doing it, especially not while engaged. I like dubs nowadays. IMO, they get way overhated. Anime is cringe, and though the Japanese actors are usually better, if it not being English helps hide the cringe. That's very true. And interestingly enough, the less you know about the Japanese language, the less cringe you can detect. So they could be delivering the cringiest lines ever, but I certainly wouldn't know. I think it sounds cool because I don't know what's cringe and what isn't in terms of Japanese. I just know what's funny and what's not, and the way that they're delivering the lines, but that's about all I can discern. But in English, oh, dude, I can't do it. I cringe so hard when I hear American dub actors in Japanese products. I just can't fucking do it, dude. I really can't. I really can't. And you know, this is nothing to do with me like being a weeb. I want to make that clear because everybody's going to say you're a weeb. Nobody's going to say that. I'm just being paranoid. I'm not a weeb. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter if I'm watching a German movie, a fucking Italian movie, French, Swedish, whatever the fuck. I don't care where it comes from. I just want to hear the native language. Just give me some English subtitles and we're good to go. I don't want to hear overdubbing of some American person who, like, I don't know. That's just me. Can't stand it. Never have been able to stand it. And, you know, this might be a hot take. I've said this many times. This might be a hot take, but I think that American dub actors try to take credit for other people's work a lot of times. You know, I understand that they're just people trying to pay their bills, and I respect that. But when they're going to conventions with like photos of the characters and they're asking for money to sign them, you didn't design that character. You had nothing to do with the conceptualization of this character. You were just hired to give them a voice in a different country. Like that's not your property. That's very bizarre to do that type of thing. So, but that's just me. Like I said, that might be a hot take. And it also seems like they get really egotistical about it. Some like the voice actor for Goku in English, Sean Schemmel, has a massive ego, and he like has said many times that if you breathe wrong, he will block you and report you on Twitter. Like just weird shit, like very high horse behavior that I don't appreciate. You know, it's like, I don't know. This is getting into a whole different conversation now, but like, maybe it's just me, but I respect and appreciate people that are willing to make mistakes as long as they're not as fucked up as the ones we were just talking about, okay? Minor, small mistakes like we all make, very small, incremental mistakes, and admit that they did that, versus people who just pretend like they're perfect at all times and try to appeal to all people and whatever. Yeah, I believe he did, Dr. Red. He also was caught on some outtakes using some very questionable slurs and language. And, you know, Funimation did a very quick and swift job of sweeping that shit under the rug. But let's just say he got caught using the F slur multiple times on Dragon Ball Z outtakes. And it's like red-handed, like it's black and white. It is him saying it. And this got leaked during the whole Vic Mignogna shit, and Sony at the time had just purchased Funimation, and they were very quick in like copy striking everybody that uploaded it to get that shit hidden and buried. Sean Schemmel Funimation leaked audio Goku. It's still out there. So yeah. Sean Schemmel is an asshole. What the fuck? I love when somebody uploads a video that just says Sean Schemmel is an asshole. This isn't mine, just proof Sean's an asshole. What? What is this about, dude? We gotta show this. What's going on here, dude?
What is going on? Where is she? Where are the people? There's a whole... I'm standing there and nobody's there. I've got a giant line I'm trying to get through, and I'm getting real frustrated with this system.
What? How does this make him an asshole? Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but that sounded like he was mad that there was a line forming and nobody was letting them through. Because, like, people are wasting their time. I think this person doesn't know what they're talking about. But yeah, I mean, voice actors, they're just fucking people. You know, the whole saying about never meet your heroes definitely applies with people like this. They're just people. You know, they're not gods among men. They're just people that are very talented at going into a booth and recording voices, okay? We have to stop this idolatry shit that we do. Like, you watch anybody who is like the really popular ones. Laura Bailey, Johnny Young Bosch, fucking Yuri Lowenthal, Liam O'Brien, these people. that are in like every dubbed anime. We have to stop acting like they're just these flawless, impeccable people. Like you see these comments all the time. Oh, Troy is just truly an amazing person. Oh my God, Troy is the model of what every professional should be. He's so nice and he's the most caring man oh my God. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Just stop. I'm not saying that they're bad people. It's like, they're just fucking people. Okay? You're like worshiping them. The people now call it glazing, I guess, but just stop it. They're just people. Relax, bro. We get it. They're just people doing a job. This is wildly off topic. Dude, everything I'm talking about is off topic. Don't worry about it. Corey Kenshin recently, I think, glanced at someone's butt and people are trying to cancel him or call him a creep and stuff. Like, that's a step too far, IMO. It's obvious you don't do that, but come on. Yeah, I mean, it's just like the whole thing about, like, women going into gyms purposefully recording to try to catch somebody in the act of, like, looking at them, which I go to a gym semi-frequently, okay? It is absolutely normal to look at someone else who may be doing something dangerous in case they might need help. If I'm looking at someone on the fucking bench press and they look like they're struggling to get the weight up and they might need help, if I don't act in like the next few seconds, if I look at them, am I going to be labeled a pervert? You know what I mean? It's like fucking stupid. People look out for each other at the gym. It is what it is. You're going to look at other patrons while you're at the gym. It's just going to happen. Yeah, that was happening for a while, but it got, you know, it's definitely been getting destroyed for the slop content that it is, because it is. When I go to the gym, I got my AirPods in and I'm in my own fucking world. I literally don't see it. There could be other people. I could hear the plates, you know, getting re-racked or whatever. I don't fucking see you. I'm in my own world. I've got tunnel vision. I'm thinking about my sets. I'm thinking about what I want to do before I leave. I'm thinking about how many miles I'm going to run on the treadmill before I leave. I don't give a shit about what you're doing. We're both there for the same reason. We're trying to get a workout in. I don't give a shit. And that's what's frustrating about it, is like, I know most people think the way that I do when I'm at the gym. They don't see me at all. They're looking right through me. We're just both there. Like, if we're both going for the same machine, sure, we might have to communicate, but otherwise, I'm not talking to anybody. So, it's just ridiculous. Like, yes, some people will occasionally look in your general direction while you're at the gym. It happens. That doesn't mean that they're looking for nefarious reasons. It could just mean that they just happen to glance over there, you know? You have to look somewhere, unless you just want to keep your eyes closed the whole time. Anyways, sorry. Little rant there, but I do think that's absurd. But it is important that I go to even a work gym, okay? I go to a gym that is not like a public gym, and even I have seen guys and girls walking around with like tripods that every single time they go to rack the weights for a set and they go to do a set, they're like setting up the tripod to record it for fucking Instagram. Like, I'm annoyed by it, sure, but if I see it happening, I just leave. Like, I just go somewhere else in the gym where I know I'm not in the frame. I don't understand what this obsession is with having to show someone that you were at the gym. You either went or you fucking didn't. Like, why do you have to... It's just like the thing we've talked about many times where, like, people go to public events, they go to sporting events, they go to concerts, and they spend the whole fucking time with their nose in their phone. It's like, you don't even really want to be here. You're not here to, like, take in the moment. You're just here to show other people that you were here. That's all you're here to do. You know? I went and saw Jerome's Dream last year when they were doing a summer tour, and we saw that a lot. Like, yeah, Bridget recorded some, but while she was recording, I was watching intently. But there were some people who literally just stood there with their arms folded the whole time, just recording stuff. It's like, So you just came here to show other people that you came here? Or like what? Like, why are you even here? You're not even moving. If I ever catch a Crush 40 concert, I will be lock the fuck in, dude. I respect that. You need to lock the hell in, dude. That's cool. We just got a wind advisory here. Anyways, so let's get into some nightmare fuel. How about it? I've been sitting here yapping for a while about various different things. Storming again already. Not surprised. You just got the wind advisory. Dude, I swear, like, I hate this phrase, but it's like my streamer friends keep dropping like flies. And I don't mean death, by the way. They're still alive and well. That sounded really morbid. But they're quitting streaming. It's just like every streamer friend that I have is just quitting streaming this year. I don't know what the deal is, man. It's kind of fucking sad because, like, you know, when you have a lot of other people that are also like-minded doing the same things, it's very easy to stay motivated. And as they quit, it's like you have less and less reason to. I'm very self-motivated, so it doesn't bother me too much, but it is sad to see, you know, people not being interested anymore over time. No, it's a lot of legwork, you know. It's a lot of work. It requires a lot of time and effort. What we playing, bro? What's up, Crooked Sight? Not sure, but I am going to be doing what's called a Nightmare Fuel segment where we just pull up some scary videos and you get to watch them through the lens of me actually being scared by it. I usually go chilling scares. I like Nick Crowley. I like Nexpo. Last stream we watched one where a guy set up a pre-recorded live stream while he murdered his girlfriend in Ireland. And he set up a pre-recorded stream to pretend like he was live on Christmas so that nobody would think that he could be the killer. Fucked up shit, man, I tell you. We watched Missing Persons Found Alive on video last time. Let's watch 4 innocent-looking videos with disturbing backstories.
In 1986, NBC...
Oh, my bad.
On December 29, 1986, NBC7 San Diego aired a segment on highway safety, offering tips on what to do in case your car breaks down.
If your car should become disabled, the rule of thumb is stay inside. There are signs you can get to put on the back window to summon for help. If strangers should offer assistance, tell
Dude, really quick, you know what's fucked up is if you watch footage now from like 2005 or 2006, it looks like this. I couldn't believe that. I was watching like some old Sports Center footage from 2006 the other day, and it legitimately looked this old compared to modern shit. It's insane.
them to call police or the CHP.
Just stay in the vehicle, lock all the doors, turn on the emergency flashers, and wait for...
no spoilers, Dr. Red, because I did not pre-watch this. I never pre-watch these, so I want to know what happens.
Even if you have to wait all night, it's better to be in the safety of your vehicle and spend the night than to try to walk and get assistance.
The segment also featured a ride-along interview with California Highway Patrol Officer Craig Pyre, who emphasized the dangers of leaving your car and blindly trusting others.
Anything could happen. Being a female, you could be robbed if you're a male, all the way to where you could be killed. Once you get in that other person's car, you're at their mercy.
This broadcast concluded with an interview with a driver who ran out of gas. He had pulled over on the highway and set out on foot to find a nearby gas station.
The bottom line, though, is that preventing all this trouble is easy. Be sure your car works, and as simple as it sounds, be sure you've got gas. Because even if you're lucky enough to get some, you still may be taking your life in your own hands.
Do you realize how dangerous it is?
Yes, I realize. In fact, I was putting the gas in, and an 18-wheeler came by and almost blew me away. Truthfully.
However, what seemed like an innocent public service announcement was, in reality, aired in response to a horrific crime that took place in San Diego just 2 days prior. The victim of this crime was Kara Knott, a 20-year-old honors student at San Diego State University. She spent Christmas Day with her family celebrating the occasion and opening presents. After dinner, she made
Holy shit. This was 86, you said? Or he said?
To spend the next couple of days with her boyfriend, Wayne Bautista. Wayne had severe flu at the time, and Kara wanted to nurse him back to health. So she drove to his house and stayed there for the next 2 days. On the 27th of December at around 8 p.m., she called her father, Sam Knott, from her boyfriend's place to let him know that she was on her way home. The drive from Wayne's house should have taken about 30 minutes, but when 2 hours passed with no sign of her, her parents began to worry. At around 10 p.m., Sam suddenly got up from his chair and said to his wife, "I'm gonna go find Kara." With that, he drove to Wayne's house, hoping that Kara would still be there. Unfortunately, Wayne told him that she left soon after she called Sam, and he had no idea where she was. Members of her family and Wayne began looking for her along the route she should have taken back home. However, despite driving around all night, they found nothing that could give them any insight into her whereabouts. Kara had vanished without a trace. That is until 5:15 a.m. when the family decided to drive down the Mercy Road exit ramp off of I-15. There, they found Kara's white Volkswagen.
I was gonna say, probably dumped into a body of water. That sadly has been the ending of so fucking many of these, man.
Beetle. The driver's side window was halfway down, the keys were still in the ignition, and all of her belongings were still in the car. But there were no signs of Kara herself. The family reported this find to the police, who quickly began searching the area. Not long after this search began, they found Kara's lifeless body 70 feet below a nearby bridge. Later medical examination of her body revealed that she had rope burns around her neck and a mysterious round injury above one of her eyes. After a complete analysis of her injuries, the coroner concluded that she had been strangled before being thrown from the bridge. Other than these injuries, there were no signs of anything being done to Kara. This made it extremely difficult for investigators to pinpoint the killer's motive behind this horrific crime. There were no signs of someone else being in the car either, which also made it
windows aren't even broken out.
Difficult to determine why she would drive off the main highway down an abandoned exit on her own. Kara's boyfriend was the last person who saw her alive. This made him the lead suspect in her murder, but he was soon cleared of any suspicion since he was at home recovering from the flu when the crime happened. The only clue investigators had left was a receipt from a Chevron gas station about 15 miles from the crime scene. Kara likely stopped there on her way back. Unfortunately, questioning the gas station employees failed to uncover any new leads, leaving investigators with zero clues for where to look next. Without any other options, investigators turned to the media and broadcasted Kara's disappearance in as many places as they could.
Jesus Christ, man. Hey, what's up, YOLO? Let me hit you with the shout out before we get back into this depressing ass video. You got the double underscores, right? Yeah. Oh, Helldivers 2. Fucking democracy, man. What's up? Elon. Never heard of him. What's up, Lucan? Oh, by the way, Dr. Red, you're a mod on YouTube now, just so you know. I don't have any other mods on YouTube, so if you guys want to be a mod on YouTube, let me know and I got you. Yeah, what's up, dude? We're in the middle of what we call a nightmare fuel segment, where I just watch an incredibly disturbing video, and I most likely will lose some sleep, and you guys get to laugh at me probably losing sleep. Lucan absolutely wants to be a mod on YouTube, but he's too shy to... Oh, is he bashful? Hey, if you're bashful, Lucan, you can always DM me, dude. Just DM me.
Asking the public for any useful information. This also included the segment on highway safety with Officer Craig Pyre. Luckily...
Yeah, they have mods on YouTube, so you have the choice. You can do a standard mod or a managerial mod. So kind of similar to on Twitch, you can have either a mod or an editor. An editor is a mod with elevated access where they can do things like they can record and change the title of clips. They can change the title of the stream, change the game, the category, whatever. And they can also publish highlights and shit like that. So YouTube is kind of similar. You can either make somebody a standard mod or they can... That's why you can't go off streams like Fresh and Fit. Oh, God. No comment.
After these segments aired on TV,
No
the
comment.
Associated Hotline quickly received over 24 calls from women. However, instead of providing any information regarding Kara, these calls uncovered a far more shocking truth. They said that a patrol officer had pulled them over in the past and told them to drive down the same deserted Mercy Road exit. According to these women, this officer kept them there for hours and would even sometimes get in their passenger seats. The officer they were talking about was 36-year-old
The fucking guy that was in the video.
Craig Pyre, the same man who was preaching on TV about how to stay safe on the
Yeah.
highway. Craig tried to disprove these allegations with his logbook, which showed that he was writing a ticket at the time miles away from the crime scene. However, his logbook had clear eraser marks in that slot.
What the fuck? What's up, Dave? Holy shit, guys, that is so fucking loud in my ears. It may not be that loud to you, but it blows my fucking eardrums out. Dave, you were playing some Ragnarok, man. Is it any good? Because people keep telling me to play it. 2 quick ones. I already know I'm getting there on the perfect line. You mean to tell me my man stamps simps over OF girls? That's what I walked into? Yes. You know, I'm not proud of it. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think I've ever on any singular device ever even tapped a link to OnlyFans. Literally the picosecond I see an OnlyFans link, I just keep it scrolling. It's a good game, very talkative for a God of War though. So we're actually in the middle of a Nightmare Fuel segment, Dave. You already know how this goes. 4 innocent looking videos with disturbing backstories. This was a video shot for a news org about a cop, you know, stressing the late night threat of being in a broken down car and why you should always be prepared in case your car breaks down. And it turns out that he was actually the #1 suspect in a crime that happened 48 hours before that video was shot.
1 week after the incident, the San Diego Police Department began a formal investigation.
That reminds me of a particular rapper, Lariat. That reminds me of a particular rapper who just so happened to have a net worth of over $1 billion at the time, talking about how he only goes to the Reddit leaks and refuses to pay for it. It just reminds me of it, but you know, I'm not saying anything about that.
With Craig
Yeah, it was actually Parappa
as the lead suspect, and it didn't take long for them to find mountains of evidence that proved his involvement. While searching his car, investigators found a yellow rope, which was just as thick as the marks on Kara's neck. They also found his flashlight, which matched the wound above Kara's eye. However, the piece of evidence that sealed the deal was a golden fiber investigators found on Kara's sweatshirt. Forensic analysis of this
badge.
fiber
I was gonna say it before they even showed it. Badge.
revealed that it was identical to the gold fibers in the patch on Craig's
Oh
uniform.
yeah, badge.
By this point, it was clear Craig was the one responsible for this crime. However, he remained adamant that he was innocent. But all the evidence and the testimonies from over 24 women allowed investigators to piece together what might have happened that night. As the story goes, Craig saw Kara driving alone and decided to pull her over down the Mercy Road exit, just like he had done with dozens of women before. However, instead of going along with him, Kara decided to fight back and maybe even threatened to file a complaint against him.
100% agreed, Wang. I've spent money on a lot of dumb shit over the years, but I'll never pay for OF. True. I'm just not that down bad. You have, in my opinion, you have to be pretty down catastrophic to be in a world. Okay. In a world with as much free fucking porn that exists. I'm just going to say it. I don't give a shit that we live in a world with endless amounts of free porn out there in the world, and you're going to go pay for it? Silly. Plain and simple. Silly. Put some chills top 15, dude. What's up, John? Ooh, John, I like your YouTube profile picture. Shows up really good. Hey, John, I'm gonna make you a mod on YouTube too, if that's okay with you. There you go. You're a YouTube mod now. Dave, if you post a message over there, I'll make you one, and YOLO. You guys will be my 4.
That's when he lost control.
Fantastic 4, bat chest. I'm sorry.
And hit her with the flashlight in his hand. Upon realizing what he had done, Craig now had 2 choices. Let Kara go and risk ruining his career, or make sure she never talks to anyone again. Craig chose the second option. After strangling her with a rope, he put her on his car's hood, drove up the bridge, and threw her off the side. On January 16, 1987, Craig was arrested from his home and later sentenced to 25 years to life in prison.
Damn.
He since applied for parole twice, but was rejected both times and is still behind bars. It's still crazy to think that Kara's case might have gone unsolved if Craig hadn't agreed to do this now haunting video interview. An interview he did where just days before, he had committed the murder of Kara Nod.
Yeah, then he immediately goes on the news and tells everybody about the dangers of getting out. Dude looks like Will Arnett. Yeah, actually, though. All right, I got you, Dave. I already know that's you. You confirmed it. I can't show up on the YT. Well, here's the thing, Pitt. I fully trust you as a mod because you were one of my mods for like 3 years on this channel. But you told me straight up that sometimes you'll just disappear for like months on end. What's up, Juicebox Hero? Sex work is work IMO though, so I don't judge the folks who make one. No. Make money however you want to make money. I'm not going to judge you for doing it. I'm just not going to pay for it. Yeah, dude, you live in a free country. You can create whatever you want to create, put out there whatever you want to put out there. But I'm just not going to pay for it.
On June 2nd, 2016,
maybe another getaway due soon. Yeah.
A woman named Christina Kellen posted this video of her pet parrot talking like a human.
Oh shit, I think I've seen this one. Yeah, what's up, Juicebox? I feel like long time no see. I feel like you came here a long time ago with a different raid. I don't remember exactly which I don't remember exactly which one. I think I might just be yapping. I might not even remember correctly, but either way, we're happy to have you here, dude. It's an African gray.
On most other occasions, people will look at a video like this, think it's cute or interesting, and move on with their lives. But in this case, the video of a talking parrot became the key to solving a murder, one that baffled investigators for over a year. On May 12th, 2015, at around 7:30...
It's like the equivalent of a local struggling rapper where I'm from. You see bitches driving around with the OF link on the car window. Oh my god. You know, do you guys remember back when Twitter first started to really pop off in like 2014, 2015, and everybody would like fucking drive around with a bumper sticker of their Twitter to beg people to follow? Did you see the video of that woman who used the sleep app and heard someone speaking to her at night? Yeah. No, I've seen that, dude. Not just that, John. There was actually, for the longest time, Ring security cameras had a really major security flaw where you could really easily like tap into the video feed, and you could use the talk through feature to just speak to people through it. So some people would tap into like the receiver of the Ring alarm system, and they would just talk to people through it. What's up, Sefric? My Ring camera has a really weird security flaw. I believe it. A lot of them do.
30 a.m., a woman named Connie Ree heard gunshot sounds from her neighbor's house across the street in Sand Lake, Michigan. But she didn't pay much attention to it, since the neighbor, 46-year-old Marty Durham, regularly hunted in the area. Connie and her husband Keith were close friends with Marty and his wife Glenn, and were familiar with the couple's habits. However, later that day, Keith notified Connie and told her that Marty wasn't answering his phone calls or text messages. So after finishing her work, Connie went out to the Durham house to investigate. The doors were locked and no one answered when she knocked. She assumed the couple wasn't home and went back to her house. But when an entire day passed without any word from Marty or Glenn, Connie became concerned and decided to check on them again. This time,
my backyard camera is using 57 IP addresses. Nobody can figure out why. Was it generating a new one each time somebody connected to it? Like a DHCP? I had one linked to my router. I had to change the password. No. Well, in this case, the sleep app recorded her sleeping, and on playback, she heard rustling in her room, and she, while half asleep, asks, "What are you doing?" And someone responds, "Nothing." Seems fairly normal, in my opinion.
She noticed that one of the doors was unlocked and went inside.
Plugged in once and created
she found
57.
The living room, which was a complete mess. It looked like the place had just been robbed. However, nothing could have prepared Connie for what she came across next. As she entered the master bedroom, she saw both Marty and Glenn lying on the floor, covered in blood. She immediately ran outside and called for help. A group of firefighters was already nearby and rushed to the scene. After taking note of the situation, the first responders pronounced that both Marty and Glenn were already dead. Both had bullet wounds on their bodies, and judging from the state of the rest of the house, it looked like a robbery gone wrong. But before they could begin investigating who the supposed robber was, something...
No poly dicks. I did not see it, but I do know that they had to euthanize like 150,000 birds because of it. I saw, like, I think the current number is like 155,000 chickens had to be euthanized to try to slow down the spread. And that's why eggs are so expensive. So even the cartons of egg whites right now are like fucking $5.80. Allow it to spread unchecked to identify birds that could be immune. Foolproof. Simply foolproof.
Something completely unexpected happened. About an hour after the initial report, a police
Eggs
officer
are
was on the
fucked.
scene and noticed that Glenn looked like she was breathing. He walked up to her to check for a pulse, and that's when she opened her eyes and sat up straight despite having a bullet wound behind her ear. She was taken to the hospital for treatment.
$250,000.
Miraculously, her wound wasn't lethal, resulting in her surviving the incident. Marty, however, wasn't as fortunate. He was shot 5 different times and didn't make it. Back at their house, investigators found a Ruger new-model revolver under a couch in the living room.
That's a couple.
They also found several cartridges and 1 unused bullet for this revolver on the couple's bed. Investigators believed that this was the weapon used to shoot both Marty and Glenn.
Oh,
but
God.
they didn't find
Why do
anything
people
that
do
could
that,
help them
man?
locate
Why do people do that? Like, looking at this for longer than 20 seconds just makes you want to puke. Why?
the weapon used to shoot both Marty and Glenn. But they didn't find anything that could help them locate the supposed intruder. Without any other options, the police began investigating Marty and Glenn in hopes of finding potential leads. That's when they made a chilling discovery. Glenn's phone record showed that on May 11th, 2 days before Marty's body was discovered, she texted her mother saying, "Love you, sorry." Seconds after sending this text, Glenn's phone accessed a webpage titled Ruger New Model Single-6 Single-Action Revolvers.
She
This
was guilty.
the same
Victor
gun that
injury.
was found in their home. After a more thorough search, investigators also found 3 letters written in Glenn's handwriting that were addressed to her children. Similar to the text she sent to her mother, these letters also contained apologies of sorts. When Glenn finally recovered enough to talk in October of 2016, investigators asked about everything they found. Glenn, however, completely denied ever searching anything about a revolver online and said that she had written the letters a long time ago. When asked about Marty, she claimed that she didn't remember anything relating to his death. At this point, Glenn was the #1 suspect. However, investigators didn't find any solid evidence they could use.
Seems like she faked her injury. I've never trusted someone named Glenn, and I'm not starting now monetization, dude. Can't get paid showing things. What do you mean? No, the only thing that matters on YouTube is watch hours, and if you're not currently monetized, they won't do shit about it. If your channel's completely unmonetized, YouTube is actually pretty lax about stuff outside of copy strikes. But if you are monetized, they'll take that shit away at the drop of a hat.
Used to bring her in for a proper questioning or make an arrest. After all, it was still
Oh, unless you're talking about the blur I was bitching about. That's probably what you were talking about.
possible that the incident was caused by an intruder, especially since Glenn was shot as well. This left Marty's case at a standstill, and it remained that way until June of 2016, when out of all things, a talking parrot single-handedly solved the case.
Dude, that is so fucking disturbing how it basically has like the entire events just saved. It has like the events saved to its brain to just repeat them.
You see, the African gray parrot in this video was named Bud, who originally belonged to Marty. He was later handed over to Marty's ex-wife, Christina, after his death. The thing about this parrot is that he was in the house when everything went down and witnessed everything. For those who don't know, African gray parrots are among
One of the most intelligent bird species to exist, yes.
the most intelligent parrot species. They're great at imitating human speech and even understanding the meanings of some words. They're also more likely to repeat what they heard during a high-stress situation. This is why, while in the care of Christina, Bud kept repeating what he heard on that day over and over again.
Probably about a month or so after Bud got here, I would hear him scream and squawk, and it would happen a lot at nighttime. But then one day, literally, he just kept going over and over again, the same and it sounded like 2 different voices.
Yeah, if the bird isn't under oath, bullshit. You gotta get him fucking talon over heart. Get him to swear under oath, dude.
And I was just so freaked out that I took it upon myself to record it.
If we go back to the video of him speaking, we can make out what sounds like an argument between
What's up,
Glenn and
Dukor?
Marty. Put simply, there was no intruder. Glenn and Marty had an argument where she was yelling and likely had a gun pointed at him. Now, while this video gave necessary insight into what went down, there was no practical way to use a parrot for testimony and convict Glenn. However, this gave the investigators the confidence they needed to pursue her more intently. They took a DNA sample and later discovered matching DNA on the Ruger
So she faked her own fucking injury. What the fuck, dude?
revolver, the supposed murder weapon. Further interrogation also revealed the whole truth of why she did what she did. Apparently, Marty had been on disability ever since getting in a car accident a few years back, but he was able to make ends meet by illegally selling his prescription narcotics.
Oh my
He
god.
left Glenn in charge of the money he made from his drug business so she could pay off important bills like the house mortgage.
Sounds like the
Glenn,
South.
however, wasted much of this money on gambling and kept lying to Marty about the mortgage payments. Marty eventually learned the truth when the bank announced that it would foreclose the house on May 12, 2015, the same day Glenn shot him to death. Rather than facing the consequences of her own mistake, Glenn decided it was better to orchestrate a robbery gone wrong and take her own life. In the end, Glenn was arrested on the 24th of June 2016 and was later sentenced to life in prison for a crime against her own husband.
People named Glenn can't be trusted, clearly, dude. This is Chilling Scares, not Nick Crowley. But very similar type channel.
On November 18, 2011, at 4:35 a.m., Sydney Fire and Rescue Services responded to an automated fire alarm at the Quakers Hill Nursing Home. The fire was nothing short of a complete tragedy. As things started calming down, news outlets conducted interviews of the people involved. This included Roger Dean, a nurse who was on duty at the nursing home when the fire erupted.
Hi, I'm Roger. I'm one of the nurses, and there was a fire, and I just quickly just did what I can, get everyone out, and
Australian.
the smoke is just overwhelming, but you know, we got a lot
He
of
sounds very calm despite the situation.
people out, so that's the main thing.
They're saying that there's still people unaccounted for. What's happening there?
I'm
No.
not sure.
Oh my god. What the fuck, dude? Knuckle Dean? I'm so glad Dew is not here to see this, dude. That is just...
Or the deputy is she's got the list of people there.
He'd probably
and,
laugh.
Yeah, it looks like there's still probably a few people, and the people are trying their best to get everyone out at the moment. Yeah.
Why'd you say
By
that?
the time responders arrived at the scene, the fire had already engulfed a
Oh my
large portion
God.
of the building. According to later reports, the fire burned so intensely that even with full protective gear, some firefighters struggled to get close to the flames.
Yeah, now everybody's gonna say, oh my god, he's laughing at a nursing home being burned down, guys. LSF, LSF, LSF. What's up, Lucan?
It's already
There's a Street Fighter player named Knuckle Dew, and he looks kind of similar to that guy. That's why Lariat called him Knuckle Dean.
dire situation. Even worse was that the burning ward housed bedridden dementia patients who were completely unable to escape on their own. Outside, rescue workers could hear the desperate cries for help, but were powerless to act because of the extreme heat. Despite these difficulties, they managed to get over 100 residents to safety. Among those trying to help, however, was Roger Dean, who rushed in to secure vital medication records before firefighters stopped him from going back into the flames. This man was hiding a disturbing secret beneath the surface. As it turns out, Roger was the one who started the fire in the first place.
Yeah.
It all started with him stealing prescription medication from the nursing home by the hundreds. Just a day before the fire, security cameras caught him accessing the medication closet 36 different times during his shift to steal pills and capsules. However, his luck ran out when other staff members at the nursing home noticed the missing medication and reported it to the police. At this point, Roger knew it was only a matter of time before he got caught.
So your only solution is to fucking burn the place down? Holy shit, talk about fucking scorched earth.
So he came up with the horrible idea to start a fire and steal the medication records during the chaos. And while he managed to execute this plan successfully, the fire also resulted in 11 elderly residents losing their lives to the flames. After he was arrested, Roger came up with the most bizarre excuse to explain his actions.
It was like Satan saying to me that it's the right thing to do.
In actuality, there was no Satan or demon telling him to start the fire in the nursing home. He was just a prescription meds junkie who committed a horrendous crime while trying to cover his tracks. Later investigation even uncovered footage of him admiring his handiwork on the morning of the fire. The seemingly innocent video of him being interviewed now carries a much more disturbing tone. He stood trial in the Supreme Court in May 2013 and was given a life sentence without the possibility of parole for 11 counts of murder.
Yep. I was going to say, anything less than life would not have been a valid punishment there.
On May 16, 1992, Mexican singer-songwriter Chelino Sanchez gave one of his best performances to date. He performed many of his popular songs before ending the concert in spectacular fashion. The fans loved every second of it. Little did they know at the time, this was going to be the last time they would ever see him perform. And it all tied back to the origin of Chelino's music. You see, Chelino was born in 1960 in a very poor farming region in Sinaloa, Mexico. Even worse than poverty, Chelino's village was marked by rampant inequality, where a few rich and powerful men had the power to do whatever they wanted. Unfortunately, Chelino experienced this inequality firsthand when a local thug named El Chapo Perez assaulted one of his sisters. However, Chelino wasn't going to let that slide. When he was just 15 years old, he spotted El Chapo at a party. And without a second thought, Chelino went up to El Chapo, drew his gun, and killed him at point-blank range. But since El Chapo was a well-connected man, killing him forced Chelino to flee to Tijuana before crossing the border into the US. After establishing a foothold in America, Chelino went into business with his brother in Mexico, smuggling Mexicans into the US. However, this operation came to an end in 1984 when his brother was killed in a hotel in Tijuana. This inspired Chelino to write a song commemorating his brother, but he did so in the most unconventional way. The song was written in a traditional Mexican style called corrido. For the lyrics, Chelino spoke openly about him and his brother's life, not shying away from the topics of drugs and violence. During this time, he himself ended up in prison in Tijuana. There, other inmates loved his unique style of music, causing it to spread across the Mexican underworld by the time he got out. It also gained a new name called narco corrido. After getting out of prison, Chelino kept working on his music and quickly became one of the biggest stars of his era. By 1991, he was selling out arenas for his tour. However, given the genre of his music, he never managed to escape the violence he once came from. During one of his concerts in January of 1992, someone ran onto the stage.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be like a Dimebag Darrell situation?
Stage with a gun. Instead of running to safety, Chelino decided to draw his own gun and engage in a shootout. This resulted in the death of the assailant as well as 10 people in the crowd getting injured. Chelino also got shot but managed to survive. However, his luck was about to run out. About 5 months later, Chelino performed in Culiacan, Mexico, delivering what would later be remembered as one of his best performances. And, as we mentioned earlier, also his last. During the concert, someone came up to him and handed him a mysterious note. In the footage from that concert, we can clearly see Chelino read the note, become visibly shaken by it, begin sweating, and stare into the crowd for a very long time before resuming the performance. Near the end of this concert, Chelino made sure to properly say goodbye to everyone, including his friends and fans. Shortly after the concert ended, Chelino was kidnapped and executed with a bullet to the back of his head. The note he received on stage essentially said something along the lines of, "We're going to kill you after this performance." Chelino knew the threat was real, and that this performance we see in the video would be his last one. Unfortunately—
Jesus Christ, man, the note was his OF. Oh my god. I want to see that shot again.
Concert.
I was listening, I didn't fully process what he was looking like after he read it.
Someone came up to him and handed him a mysterious note. In the footage from that concert, we can clearly see Chelino read the note, become visibly shaken by it, begin sweating, and stare into the crowd for a very long time before resuming the performance. Near the end of this concert, Chelino made sure to properly say goodbye to everyone, including his friends and fans. Shortly after the concert ended, Chelino was kidnapped and executed with a bullet to the back of his head. The note he received on stage essentially said something along the lines of, "We're going to kill you after this performance." Chelino knew the threat was real, and that this performance we see in the video would be his last one. Unfortunately, the identities of the killers were never uncovered, and it's unlikely they ever will be in the future.
Amazing video. This guy makes fucking amazing videos. But yeah, that is definitely worse than the Dimebag Darrell situation. The United States military for some time did not allow them to vacation in Mexico. Do not fuck with the cartels, them being the soldiers. Yeah. Yeah, cartels are crazy, man. Back in the day, there used to be a website called bestgore.com. And bestgore.com was known as one of the most fucked up websites like in existence. But they had a lot of footage of like cartels doing crazy shit. Like if they caught people stealing, they would take their hands and they would just shoot right in the middle of both of their hands. And then they would just walk off and let them basically bleed out. There was a lot of crazy shit on that site. That was one of the biggest shock websites like in existence. I forget what ended up getting them taken down. It was something copyright related. Like they stole, basically there was like an informant who was working for either Newsmax or Newsweek or one of those big news orgs, and they were giving them some of the raw footage from the cameras. They were giving the website raw footage, and they ended up suing them, and that's how that website got taken down. Because they couldn't afford to fight the lawsuit. Yeah, now rotten.com. Man, shock sites are just... Shock sites are just a thing of the past, man. Like, nobody's shocked by anything nowadays. I feel like, you know, a video like what would have been shocking back in my day, so to speak, is just not really that shocking anymore. Like, people go on fucking Twitter and they see, like, the craziest shit imaginable already, so... That's what makes me so freaked out about having a kid nowadays, man. I would have to be so involved in whatever the fuck my kid is doing on the internet, because I know how easily accessible this shit was back when I was, you know, that age. And I've even heard of like fucked up situations where kids play Roblox and adults get into Roblox chats and try to get them to like give them credit card information and shit. Like, there's so much stuff you got to look out for on the internet, man. It's crazy. Back in the day, even further back than me, it was like AOL chat rooms and basically the same stuff that they would use to lure people into like the To Catch a Predator situations. But with, you know, the advent of... That's not the only thing adults are looking for on Roblox, so no. I know that, sadly. But yeah, there's just a lot of bullshit that you got to be aware of. Your AOL chat room years old. Dude, honestly though, not to quote Gutex, but him and Mike Ross did have a conversation about this in one of the Excellent Adventures episodes. That really was back when the internet was fucking scary. You didn't know who the fuck you were talking to ever. Everybody was just a screen name back then. Bofidis nuts, huh? It's actually Bofidus. At the beginning of the Gaza war on social media, I've probably seen more dead children than parents and my grandparents combined, yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of when, you know, the whole war on terror thing first started too, and the news was just relentlessly showing like explosions and missiles and everything. I definitely got a couple Beyonce pics that led to meetups with Rosie O'Donnell. So, oh my god, dude, and everybody was doing ASL back then, so everybody was 18, female, Los Angeles, and really they were fucking 42 in Poland, you know. Everybody was fucking 18F Los Angeles back then. Every fucking person. It's like, yeah, I'm sure you are. Okay, bud. Oh yeah, everybody. People talk about catfishing now. Fucking everybody was a catfish back then. Everybody, dude. Not a soul was who they actually said they were back then. Not a one. See that story about how the Instagram Discover feed was glitched and showing nothing but gore to most users? Yeah, isn't that great? that can just happen every now and then. And, you know, there's like two schools of thought. Well, I do also remember, like, as I was getting older, we're talking like getting out of grade school, going into middle school, like 360 PS3 era is coming about. A lot of parents that I knew would just take the approach of, oh, I'll just let the Xbox be the babysitter. Like, oh, me and, you know, the mom and the dad, like, they just wanted to go out and go do something. And they're like, well, my son has his Xbox and he's got Xbox Live, so I guess I'll just leave him at home all day to play on Xbox. It's like, that type of shit was starting to really pop off. Like, just bad parenting in general. Learned so many new I, in fact, did. Yes, the Xbox Live and the Counter-Strike Source era, man. I know so many girls who got profiles, send pics looking like Louis Anderson. Oh my god. And filters are such a bad thing now, dude. You go any like dating site or what, any shit like that, everybody's got 1,000 quintillion filters on. They just straight up look like, you know, fucking cartoon characters because they got all the fucking smoothing airbrush filters and stuff. And then, you know, they're taking the photo like this, looking up so that they have the defined jawline and chin and stuff. You see them in real life and they got 6 chin. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're not going to go in on people's appearances. We're not. I'm just speaking, not from experience, but I'm just speaking about things that I know happen, okay? I've been told by very reliable sources. After watching Stamp stream, I saw nothing but MILF dating sims on Steam. So if you guys want to know the lore behind that, Counter-Strike Source, yes, that probably taught me the most vulgarities. Dude, Counter-Strike Source was where I first experienced like shock website content. People would go into servers of like CS Office or Dust 2, and they would just have like a tub girl spray, or they would have 2 girls 1 cup as a spray, like a GIF, because you could spray GIFs back then. And it would just show like the bulk of the fucked up stuff in 2 girls 1 cup. And that's just what people did. So of course me, having no fucking idea what this shit is, I'm like, what? You know? And I'm just sitting there putting like an album art as my spray because I thought that was cool. And then everybody else is putting fucked up shit like that. Not everybody, but, you know, a few people. I used to play with this one guy on CS Office, and his name was Mel Gibson Drinks Killer Booze, which was right around the time that Mel Gibson was in hot water for like that leaked phone call of him being super drunk and using like a payphone or whatever. That's how long ago this was, okay? When that was like a big news story. Yeah, that's a guy I used to play with all the time. He was actually really fucking good at the game too. But yeah. Takes me back. Yeah, pre-social media internet was a completely different beast. Pre-social media internet was something that you just had to be there. I mean, everybody knows about Discord servers nowadays. Everybody's chilling in Discord servers, okay? It's crazy how 2 girls 1 cup's music is embed. Yeah, like the classical music that they randomly selected. And the crazy thing is, the video, the viral version of 2 girls 1 cup is literally just a trailer. That was only a trailer for a full-length film, so to speak. So it's like, wow, that's the trailer? Yeah, like 2 girls 1 cup reaction videos were one of the first things I ever remember seeing truly popping off on YouTube. Dude, that shit was crazy. It was like, you know, a bunch of soldiers crowded around a laptop at a base watching 2 girls 1 cup and like gagging. That was like a huge subgenre of YouTube videos when I first started watching, you know, 06, 07, around that area. Wee Man watched it. I'm pretty sure there was a video of Wee Man watching it. Jason Wee Man Acuna, legend, by the way. Did you guys know Wee Man owns a taco restaurant? Chain. It's called Chronic Taco. He owns like 3 or 4 Chronic Taco locations. Just check to see if there's a wiki, and there is, yeah. A lot. There was a video by a guy named Justin Wang. He does like sort of, you know, tales from the internet type videos, and he made a video talking about how it was a trailer for a full-length movie called Hungry Bitches or something like that. Just some really stupid Some stupid porn video name. Yeah, Justin Wang, no relation to Justin Wong. But it's W-H-A-N-G, but yeah. There's like certain eras. You guys know there's certain eras on YouTube that you know about. Like the first era that I was ever a part of was comedy sketches. Like the first 2 videos on YouTube I ever watched were Leave Britney Alone and Shoes the full version. Okay, so it was a guy crying and screaming into the camera to leave Britney alone when she was like shaving her head and doing all that crazy shit, losing custody of her kids and that stuff. And then there was one of a guy cross-dressing, playing a character named Kelly and singing a song about how she wants to buy shoes. The character. Bum fights, yeah. Remember when the dude who ran the Bum Fights YouTube channel went on Dr. Phil dressed like him and he got kicked off? That was so obviously fucking scripted. So obvious, dude. What a dumb episode that was. Just like every single episode of Jerry Springer. Oh, Dude Core back on Twitch. Let's go, dude. Wasn't that around the time Kimbo Slice got famous? Yeah. I'll tell you what is like one of the weirdest eras is when VH1 and MTV, the director argued that it wasn't shit but chocolate ice cream. Yeah, the director claimed that it was. I'll tell you what, that was some convincing fucking special effects if it was. It was very convincing, dude. Dude Core, you are everywhere. I played Dude Core in Third Strike and Street Fighter 4. We're not going to talk about the results. Because, you know. But we did play some sets. Shots fired. I miss the days of E-Bombs World. E-Bombs World, Nothing Toxic, Live Leak, AOL Video, Yahoo Video, and Google Video. I remember those before the advent of YouTube. Did you guys... Here's another interesting thing. How did you guys know Vimeo? Yeah, Vimeo's still around. Dailymotion, yeah. Let's see. Did you guys know how many Twitch competitors have existed and disappeared over time? Does anybody remember Blip TV or Hitbox TV or Stream.me? There's a lot, dude. I got cooked. Well, to be fair, you don't really play Third Strike like that, and I'm playing a fucking top tier character, just doing every scummy, yeah, mixer. Blip TV, Stream.me, do you guys remember Storyfire? Holy shit, Storyfire was a YouTube competitor created by McJuggernuggets. And it was so fucked up. He would keep taking it to big companies like Amazon and all these different companies and pitching it. And the whole pitch behind Storyfire was that it was YouTube, but the CPM was way higher, which is cents per minute. So basically how much you get paid per view. That was the thing. Because YouTube stifles CPM a lot. It's very low. So you have to maintain very, very high views to make good income on YouTube. So he was like, well, if I offer really high CPM and we have other business models, you know, rolled into this, we can offer higher CPM to our partnered users. And everybody they went to rejected it. Every single person said, nope, terrible idea. We're not doing it. And then eventually it failed so hard that he sold it. He sold Storyfire as an NFT for 10 grand. Probably the worst outcome imaginable. So he had this grand idea for a YouTube competitor that failed so badly that he had to sell it as a goddamn NFT. Awful. But yeah, there's been a ton. There's been a ton of Twitch competitors over the years that have all died. Let's Be 1000, the only legitimate Twitch competitor that exists. I'm streaming on it right now. It's YouTube. YouTube, if they so chose, they've got fucking Google money, man. That's the only company. McJuggernuggets was trash. Yeah, the emote took a little bit to load in. I see the emote down here, but not on the multi-chat. That's annoying. But yeah, McJuggernuggets was the guy who made the he was the guy who made the Psycho Kid videos, which was just a fake like You know, it was just a fake kid freaks out over every little thing type. Kind of the same way that Boogie used to make his Francis videos where he would just play a character and freak out over everything. Aku from Samurai Jack. D-Madge still holding. Yeah, Psycho Dad. Tout lasted like a week. No. Remember the one that everybody thought Dr. Disrespect was going to go to when he initially got banned? And it didn't end up happening. I forget what it was called. I think the only 3 legitimate streaming sites that exist nowadays, Angry Grandpa, Kid Behind the Camera, yeah. The only legitimate streaming options that exist nowadays, and some of them you could argue are not that legitimate, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Rumble. And I ranked those in order of their relevance. So Kick is a stream, actually, no, let's re-rank those. Twitch, number 1 for streaming. YouTube, Kick, Rumble. Rumble is definitely the 4th most relevant, and only because they gave Dr. Disrespect a massive contract. TikTok Live is gaining steam. No, not the fucking predatory messenger app Kick. Literally kick.com, K-I-C-K. TikTok Live. Dude, I'll tell you guys about the weirdest fucking TikTok Live I saw the other day that actually had decent views. It was literally just this girl. It was like a Chinese girl who was taking a hair straightener and pressing it up against unpopped popcorn until it popped. And people were like donating her a bunch of money to do this. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching, dude? What a fucking weird platform. Popping popcorn with a hair straightener gets views on TikTok. You never know what the fuck you're gonna see over there, dude. And we think that some content on Twitch is trash. Like, content on Twitch is high art compared to that shit. What about Whatnot, garbage dump streaming service of scammers? Huh? Which one are you talking about? Because there's a lot that could fall under that distinction. Kick is basically where banned Twitch streamers go. Oh, Whatnot? I've never heard of Whatnot. There was one, like a very weird one that EDP 445 tried to go to for a while, where it had like a system similar to Bits that you could donate. Yeah, Mixer was a big fucking failure. That was Microsoft's attempt at a Twitch-style streaming service. They even had Bits. They were called Embers on Mixer. They signed Ninja and Shroud to big-ass contracts, like multi-million, like $10, $15 million contracts, okay? For Microsoft, that's literally drop in the bucket. Microsoft, you guys have to understand, Microsoft is so wealthy, primarily off the back of Windows being like the universal PC operating system. They're so fucking wealthy that if they felt, just one weekend on a whim, if they felt like opening up a space science division and actually like launching something competitive to NASA, they could. They could do that in a weekend if they wanted to. Not build it all out, but they could allocate the resources to have it all built in a weekend. That's how much money they have. It's kind of like Samsung. People don't realize how wealthy Samsung is, that they have an entire military division. And it's hilarious that although Apple and Samsung are technically competitors, every Apple phone has had a Samsung display inside of it for like the past 5 years. Every iPhone that has an OLED display is a Samsung panel. So Samsung has been supplying Apple with displays for like 5+ years. So yes, they are competitors, but they make money off of each other. So they're not really competitors in that sense. But here's the thing, YouTube, if YouTube were so inclined and they stopped this stupid strategy that they're doing of just handpicking one streamer here, oh, Valkyrae, let's get Saikuno, let's get Ludwig, let's get, you know, all these people. They need to get entire groups of streamers. OTK is a streaming, like, what do you call them? They're like a clique of streamers. It's like Emiru, Mizkif, Esfond, formerly Asmongold, I guess he's not part of it now. They need to spend like $10 fucking million and get an entire group of streamers. That way, there's no option to stay on Twitch. You have to go to YouTube if you want to see any of them. That's how they could compete. The only problem is there's not as much money in offering someone a contract like that as you might think. Ludwig apparently was using, as he admitted, like the bulk of his YouTube money was being used to run large events, like, you know, the speedrunning thing that he did, like the Mario Kart tournament, the streamer awards or whatever. He was funneling money into these big events, but it turns out big events don't fucking make money on Twitch because nobody watches like that. Okay? Nobody, and I've talked about this a million times, nobody goes to Twitch to watch something like the Streamer Awards. They simply don't. You're going to get a lot of quote-unquote normies that watch it, but you're not going to have an event that like makes a ton of money. You're going to bleed money or break even at best. Whereas if Kai Cenat has fucking Kevin Hart and they're just sitting in front of Kai's PC bullshitting, being funny, they're going to make fucking bank. And you know what their budget for doing that stream was? $0 or whatever it costs to like order food or whatever for Kevin while he was there. That's the only overhead. By the way, have you guys seen the theory that Kai Cenat is Diddy's son? They have very similar features. Everybody's like, he should not get rid of his dreads anytime soon. Yes, I'm aware of that theory. Fucking Aiden Ross, yeah. Dude, it's actually insane how wealthy Aiden Ross is. It's fucking insane. But yeah, there's like a theory out there now that Diddy is Kai Cenat's dad. I mean, look, I'm not putting anything out there, but they do have super, super similar features. And whenever Kai Cenat did his Mafia-thon marathon, he actually ended up in an LA mansion that was right next to Diddy's and made like a big deal about it for no reason. All right, here is the photo. Now, I don't know what they're talking about by saying he is Kai, but yeah, there's some idiots out there that are saying he literally is him, and they're going off about the cloning bullshit. I'm like, okay, dude, just stop. It's not racism, dude. Call every single person who's ever made that comparison that, because there's a lot of them out there. I'm just saying, it's a fucking theory that's out there. Is there any validity to it? No. But it's a stupid fucking theory that's out there. Oh my god, never. You know, honestly, people have said like Kick, YouTube top tier. People have said Kick is actually viable now, but the problem is you go live on Kick and you have like so many fucking stamp of approval crossed with JRE. You go to Kick and there's so many bots over there. I've seen it happen so many times. Like as soon as somebody goes live on Kick for the first time, they just get inundated with bots and shit. And yeah, there was like this whole conversation about, oh, who was the first streamer to go mainstream? It was Ninja, by the way. Nobody, any other person who they say went mainstream is not telling the truth. It was fucking Ninja. Okay, Ninja was playing with Drake before any of this. Like, we're talking like 5-6 years ago. He was playing with Drake, and he went and met with Mark Cuban to discuss like business opportunities related to streaming. He was the first streamer to do that type of shit. No question, he was the first one to quote-unquote go mainstream. Now, Ninja, I wouldn't say he's washed up or anything, but I think that he seems to be like really bitter toward people like Kai Cenat. Like, anytime Kai Cenat comes up as a topic of conversation, he like sneak disses him. You know, he's like, yo, I'm happy for him, but I would have been him if this, that, and the other fucking thing. He's like, well, if this happened or that happened, I would have been Kai Cenat. It's like, why is that even fucking necessary to bring up, dude? You're not. You're not filling the niche that he eventually filled. Neon. Oh, God, Neon. Well, Neon got exposed for being completely fake the other day anyway. Not that we didn't already know that. But some guy went on a podcast and said that he's like a really nice kid off stream, and he went over to everybody and he was like, hi, my name's Neon. I'm going to be in character, so if I say anything mean, just letting you know it's not personal. You know, it's like, oh my God. Dude acts so fucking hard. Gun to my head, would I be a guest on Aiden Ross's stream or Andrew Tate's podcast? Why is everyone on YouTube the new meta? I would probably, so if we're talking strictly based on reputation and exposure, it depends on what your goal is, right? But I would probably rather be on Andrew Tate's podcast. Not because I agree with any fucking thing that he says, but if you got a gun to my head and you're forcing me to choose, I think that'd be the easiest one to like just get in and out without doing too much destruction to everything in the world, you know what I mean? I mean, not to be dramatic about it, but like your own shit that you got going on. If you're going to go on one of those guys' shows, your reputation's going to take a hit no matter what, just because they're so divisive. But I feel like it'd be easier to escape unscathed with, you know, Tate. Yeah, it was Mickey Mays that said that. Mickey Mays. Mickey Mays is that dude that always lies about like winning at casinos and shit. He just makes up, literally Mickey Mays is like the main character in his own story everywhere he goes. War Room with Stamp. Oh God. Honestly, yeah, I mean, if I was being absolutely forced, yeah, but clearly neither would be my original choice. You know what? I would go on the Level 1 podcast with Darkside Phil. Trump or Elon, gun to my head. Which one has a higher net worth so I can get more inheritance? That's a joke, by the way. I'd take the... Oh my God. This is getting way too spicy out here, dude. Listen, for Twitch and YouTube, I just want to listen. This is strictly comedic. Okay, there's nothing serious about this stream. I just want to make that clear. $100 Trumps couldn't compete with one Elon's net worth. And yeah, sure. I want to inherit Tesla, dude. Just give me $1 billion dues, dude. You know, I talked about this a while back. One of the most hilarious things, it was like the hardest I ever laughed working in retail. I was working with a friend and we were setting up the Christmas feature, which is like the display, like all the Christmas stuff was coming in and we were switching out the Thanksgiving shit. It was like 3 a.m. We were tired as fuck, you know, chugging Monster Energies and whatever the fuck I used to drink back then. Yeah, every form of caffeine under the sun. And he's like, man, I wish I had a time machine so I could go back to the days of early YouTube and just be PewDiePie before he ever existed. And we were just kind of yapping about that. And he goes, yeah, dude, I would go back in time and I would say, hey, hi, my name's PewDieDoo and I'm here to make money. I was like, dude, you're such a fucking idiot. I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, just go back and say, hi, everybody. I'm here to make money. Give me money. The number one strategy amongst content creators is to never talk about money, like ever. Because the second you talk about money, people realize how wealthy you are, they'll be less likely to open their wallet. We know that this is true. That's what they do. That's why they call it support. That's why they dance around the topic and say things like, oh, if we get the stream to 200 likes, that helps me do this. You know. Atriox vid breakdown of Tesla. Elon apparently makes up 700 billion of the company's worth and the actual company itself is only worth 70 billion. What did I come back to? I don't even think you want to know, dude. John basically said, gun to my head, would I rather go on Aiden Ross or Andrew Tate's stream? And then somebody, I think John also said, Trump or Elon, gun to your head. No, Pitt. Dude, Lucan said that. It's all stocks. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, like, when it comes to stocks, I love how people are just always like, oh, the stock value of something went down. This person lost money. It's like, no, they didn't lose money until they sell. It's just that the valuation is temporarily lower, but typically over long term, it ends up being fine, you know? But a lot of times people are like, oh, then the number on the screen went down. That means they lost money. Not how it works, dude. Just because the number went down doesn't mean they're going to instantly sell. Yeah, but they're not going to sell, so they're not going to lose that money long term. They're just going to keep it in there until the value goes up. You could say on paper they lost value, but they didn't technically lose money because they're not even accessing that money until they sell. I'm a dip, gotta work. Hey, no problem, dude. Core. Appreciate you hanging out as always, dude. But yeah. And everybody keeps telling me, like, oh, you should get into crypto. It's like, that's just too volatile, man. Like, I had a very brief period, like 3 or 4 years ago, where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get in. I just want to try to see like what the barrier of entry is to crypto stuff. And I basically spent a whole weekend researching. 10% isn't much in that case. When we see stocks hitting 30 to 40% dips, that's when you worry. Yeah, because that's the potential of not being recoverable at that point. It's like if you have a vault of gold and its value goes down for a week, you didn't lose any gold. Yeah, it's like the amount of gold that you have is still the same. It's just the value of it has changed. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a trick question, but it's kind of like one of those things where somebody's like, oh, you have a certain amount of pounds of something, you know, and then somebody's like, wait, but if, anyways, I'm not getting into that. That would have been a very long-winded analogy that would have made no sense. Yeah, but we're talking about, I think it's like just approaching it from two different directions. Like I'm talking about the amount of money that you have invested stays the same. It's just that the thing that you have invested in has changed in value. And you could say that as a result of that, you could lose money if you sell. But if you decide to hold on to it and anyways, then you didn't technically lose money if you only sell when the value goes back up. But yeah, it's all technicalities and shit like that. But stocks and crypto, I just don't really get into all that shit, man. I really don't. Lariat wants so badly to just fucking jump into a Discord and roast the shit out of me for saying this, but its value isn't realized until sale. Yeah. That's all I'm getting at. Tales from the Crypto. The Cryptar. But yeah, I'll say one thing. I will say one thing about like the modern streaming culture that really annoys me. Your fellow podcast talker Shadow here. What's up, dude? One thing about streaming that really annoys me nowadays. GG. What? Canceled? It's a cycle. The market usually recorrects itself. There's people out there with enough money to swing the market wherever they want to create fear. That's true. Yeah. Debate bro streamers are probably some of the worst streamers out there. And I know this because I was in the I was on the speech and debate team in high school and a little bit in college, very, very little. Enough to know that those types of people are never good faith arguing about anything ever. And it's all just a psychological game and every logical fallacy in the book to try to make you look stupid and them look really smart. So watching a debate bro streamer is just the most fucking mentally draining thing you could possibly do. It's all Gish gallops. Yeah, it's all about the W. Like, Gish galloping is a logical fallacy where you basically just bombard someone with like 70 different points, and when they can't respond to all of them at once, you take the W and you fold your arms and say, well, if you can't respond to all 17 items that I just brought up, then you clearly don't know what you're talking about. You know, I used to see that a lot. Or it's just tricking you into saying something that you don't actually intend to say, and then they're like, you just said that, you just said that, I'm calling you out. It's so scummy, dude. And I know this because I employed some of those scummy tactics too, because sometimes you gotta. You know, we were all like 18 to 20 years old. We were all very susceptible to all the logical fallacies and getting overly emotional in those debates. So, I see the same shit happening with debate bro streamers all the fucking time, man. All the time. When they start insulting each other with debate lingo, yeah. Especially when they start like comparing who knows more about a particular topic. Getting scummy is part of growing up. True. You know what's funny about that, Luke? And some people genuinely believe that I'm like egotistical. Rich on Twitch, I'm just gonna say it. I don't usually put other people's names in my mouth, but Rich on Twitch legitimately thinks that I think I'm a good player. I don't know why. The last time I played Rich, he beat me like 3-2 or something like that. And he was just like popping off saying that I'm so shitty and like I focus and jump in the neutral. I have no idea how to play. And I was like, I just literally said to him, like, dude, I'm way too old to get into a Twitch beef with somebody. And then I just stopped responding to him, period, end of story. It's like, I have never once claimed to be a good player. Yes, Rich did say that. No, I didn't take it seriously. Yeah, like, as soon as that conversation was over, we moved the fuck on to something else and it was totally fine. But I was just like, dude, I have never claimed to be good. I think Deltron, you for sure, Luke, and you just never really play Ryu online. But if you win more games than he thinks you should, he's as annoyed as most of us, yeah. Lucan, Deltron, OG definitely. Solid are all four comfortably over me as Ryu players. That's not negotiable. That's not debatable. I think at best, I'm right around... Yeah, Baker is above me for sure. I would say at best, I'm at the same level as Nija. Oh yeah, a girl who likes steak, that guy. Or that person, I don't know, dude. Who is that? Because I messaged them and I was like, oh, did you used to go by Guangzhou Ryu or whatever? Yeah, respectfully to Nija. I don't even think I'm necessarily better than Nija. He plays more often than me. You're well beyond his Ryu. Well, that's just what I think, dude. I am not at all an egotistical player. I can be irrational also when I lose. I think we all do. Like, we all have that thing that we just fucking hate to lose. And you know, back in the day, I definitely said some things I regret about some people. Like Volcanic Akuma 55. If you guys remember Volcanic Akuma on Xbox Live, I definitely beat the shit out of that guy one day. And I sent him some very heinous messages about how dog shit he is. Certainly not proud of that, but I did in fact do it. No, dude, no ego. I was like 20 at the time, dude. We're talking literally 10 years ago. Underplays how good he is. My biggest issue as a Street Fighter player is my mental. When I drop a combo, I get incredibly mad at myself very quickly. When I drop an easy combo or an easy confirm, I get so pissed off about the fact that I dropped it that I just forget how to play Street Fighter. But I have to understand that, like, we're playing online. It's not going to be like you're going to be hitting 8 out of 10 confirms. But that's just what I do. I've had that problem for a very long time. Like, if I'm playing Exeter and I miss easy confirms and he ends up, you know, eking out a win because I dropped something stupid, I'm like, I just don't want to play anymore. It's a very bad mentality. But yeah. No. I'm not foreshadowing SF4 sets. Dude, I'm streaming to 2 different platforms at like 8,000 bitrate. The last thing I should do is play an online game on top of this. Fuck that. That'd be the worst thing possible. Again, no disrespect to Rich by saying that. I'm just saying that that's what happened. He knows it and I know it. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. I think we all just get irrationally pissed off. The guy doing the rollback apparently had a breakthrough. Oh, he finally was able to figure out how to do it without putting all of our machines at risk. Dude, that was crazy, by the way. If anybody doesn't know, I'm sure most of you guys were probably there when it happened, but there was an entire weekend where we were messing around with Street Fighter 4's like it was like pre-beta rollback mod. And I was playing games with like YOLO, and I was playing games with Swix, and I was playing games with Pit, I think Pit, and a few other people. Maybe Pit was gone at this time. I know I played like SNK and all that shit. And the connections were really good sometimes, and they were kind of ass other times. Yeah, I don't think you were there. But, yeah, so we're messing around with this mod. Tell me the lore to the Silent Hill games. All of them. I need to know what is happening. Is he dreaming? Because Resident Evil plot is great. Here's what I'll say, Shadow. Stay tuned to my YouTube channel, because I'll be talking about that. Appreciate that, Kendo. Enjoy that lurk. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel, because we're going to be going in depth on every Silent Hill game very soon. So anyway, it got to the point where like BJ is cool, was coming into the stream, and he was like asking somebody, like everybody's coming into the stream, like every 15 minutes. They're like, oh, can someone show me how to install this, right? And I'm in there, like YOLO's streaming. He doesn't want to, you know, he just showed everybody how to do it. Every 5 minutes, somebody's coming in asking how to do it. So they start like Venmoing me so that I can jump on a Discord call with them and show them how to install it. So I've been jumping on Discord calls with people, screen sharing, showing them how to do this shit for like 3 hours straight. Like I didn't have shit all else to do that day. I was doing that for a while. I helped BJ set up, I helped Rich and a couple other people. And then the dev shows up. I received no payment. The dev shows up and he goes, whoa, yeah, someone told me that you were streaming. He shows up in YOLO's chat. He's like, yeah, someone showed me that you were streaming the rollback mod. Just letting you know, it's really risky to do that, and it puts your machine in a vulnerable state, like, to run this mod, and I don't recommend that you do it. And he's like, where did you even get these files from? Because every person I've given them to, I've told them not to give them out. And it turned out that there was a guy named Bogart Knight, I believe was his name, who had been, like, distributing the game files and showing everybody how to do it. But anyways, it was a whole fucking thing. But basically, for the longest time, the developer just straight up said, do not use this, it's dangerous. The dev didn't tell me anything about the mod. I didn't know. He was a year late. Yeah, dude, the mod had been around like as a proof of concept for over a year before we were even messing around with it, I think. So yeah, that happened. He basically showed up and said, like, it's dangerous, you shouldn't use it. And so we stopped, and everybody, I like gave everybody's money back and everything. BJ was cool about it. He's like, no, you can still keep a little bit because you did help me out and stuff. BJ's a cool guy. But yeah, so I did all that because I was like, I'm not going to take anybody's money if they're not going to be able to use the mod. That's just fucked up. So got all that sorted. I streamed it in 2023 and I knew who he was back then. He just didn't use Twitter. He used some random Twitter-like program to communicate. Yeah. Yeah, the dev is like really off the grid. He has like a Discord account that he barely uses. And I think he has a Blue Sky account and that's about it. So it's like really tough to even get in touch with the person who developed it. X, oh God. Look, dude, I just call it Twitter. It was Twitter from 2009 to like 2022, for fuck's sake. I'm going to continue to call it Twitter. When you go to x.com, the domain name is still Twitter. So I will continue to call it that until that's not the case. Oh, actually, it's not. Well, I fucked up. Anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, so apparently the dev got with Bogart and they hashed it out. And the agreement they came to was that Bogart can continue to give people the mod, just take the dev's name away from it. Like, he basically was like, Bogart, if you're going to give it to people, just leave me out of it. He's like, I don't want to be responsible for other people's machines being at risk. Leave me the fuck out of it. And so that's the agreement that they came to. So Bogart apparently runs an unofficial Street Fighter 4 rollback Discord now, where people go in there, they share the files, they run games and stuff, and whatever, that's cool. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm certainly not downloading it. But YOLO just said that apparently it's a, there's a breakthrough with it. So I'm assuming it's safer or maybe more user-friendly, because the version we played had a lot of fucking UI issues, quality of life problems. Like having to select your fucking characters with like values on a screen and the alternate costumes and shit and the maps or stages. That shit was weird. So the horror adventure game Last of Us is really interesting. IDK how it all starts, but survive with things called clickers, interesting mutations. Oh yeah, I've played Last of Us 1 many, many times. I'm gonna call it Twitter forever till Elon runs the first to 10. I'll be there, dude. I'll watch next. He's gonna claim to be like a top 5 Street Fighter 6 player. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just having a little off. Oh, my bad. I got you, dude. I had to do it. Fucking people were coming in here posting crazy shit. I got you. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so this is from the dev. I got you. The dev says, you're welcome to try the new version. My stick broke, so I can't. I tried it with my 2 PCs, and it seems more stable and has less jank and a few new features. Seems like... Or no, this isn't from the dev, but it seems like Lulal Wen has been making big breakthroughs. I mean, sick. If we could actually try to get some shit going, I'd like to give it a shot, because I'll tell you, I played some games with SNK, and that shit felt like arcade, dude. It felt really good. And he's in like Arizona or some shit, and I'm all the way on the East Coast. That is a lot of effort, dude. You got to click all the way across the screen and shit. I couldn't be fucked. Couldn't be fucked. Yeah, so I think, you know, overall, it's just going to be one of those things. You played SNK too. Yeah, I think you're technically further away from him than me. Technically, but not by much. You're a little further south than me, even. Shit was crazy with no perceivable... I know, dude, connection was solid. And that was... And, oh yeah, I also played Gas Station. I played Gas Station, and that he's actually West Coast, so we were on a coast-to-coast connection, and it still felt fine to me. The only thing is, when you were using the rollback mod, you really needed to turn off the audio altogether, because like the special move sound effects were fucked up, and there was a bunch of desync with like the stage backgrounds and stuff. But other than that, I mean, it was fine. Yeah, I just took my headphones off whenever I was actually playing a match, and it didn't matter to me. I've heard the sounds of Street Fighter 4 so many fucking hours in my life that they don't even register as sounds anymore. It's like when Marvel 2 players talk about the soundtrack in that game, like they don't even hear it anymore. It's just like white noise. That's what I'm like with Street Fighter 4 music. Just put on some fucking Mad Villainy and you're good to go, dude. Yeah, that fucking dinosaur stage is terrible too. Not just to mention the lag, it's just the shittiest looking stage in the whole game. It's so fucking terrible. It wasn't even a good stage in Cross Tekken, and then they translate it to Street Fighter 4. They put that weird like grayscale filter over it, and it looks even worse. What were they thinking, dude? It's cool like in concept, but in the actual game, I think it looks awful. One of the other really bad stages is the Volcanic Rim again, cool in concept, but for a colorblind person like me, you can't see shit. And of course I'm colorblind red to green, and that stage is like 95% red molten lava. You know? Molten lava. So I can't see diddly dick. Oh my god. No, I don't mean that. Oh my Lanta, dude. Getting baited into silliness. That's just what happens on my stream, hey? Clipped and shipped to LSF, baby. You know what's funny? You know what's really fucking rich and really funny is that Twitch keeps showing us, like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they're losing a bunch of money right now. I know Twitch can't be doing very well because in the past 2 years, they have completely pulled out of the South Korean market. Everyone should turn off VODs and clips. They've completely pulled out of the South Korean market. No, the smart thing that YOLO does is you can watch his VODs, but the vocal track is missing. So even if you manage to get like the VOD, there will be no voice on it. That's the smart thing that he does. So you won't be able to like go back and clip him saying something. Clips have been turned on for like a month. Y'all just don't be knowing. But yeah, Twitch, they keep proving to us. They had a bunch of layoffs. Twitch has laid off over 900 employees. One of them was a good friend of mine. Not going to say his name, but he was here for the first time I ever got follow botted. And somebody tried to basically crash my stream by follow botting me a bunch of racist names and shit. He helped me out tremendously during that, so, you know. And then a few months later, they fucking laid him off. He was like also really high up in security for TwitchCon and like running the different events and things like that. So massive layoffs at Twitch. And then shortly after, they completely pull out of the South Korean market because the bandwidth was too expensive to maintain operations there. Then shortly after, yes, those were his initials. Then shortly after that, well, recently now, they introduce a completely arbitrary 100 gigabyte limit for highlights. Even if you're in the Partner Plus tier, even if you have like 300 or more consistent subscribers, you only get 100 gigs of highlight upload footage. That's it. And I follow a lot of speedrunners, specifically horror game speedrunners, and they got absolutely demolished by that policy change because everything that they upload is a Twitch highlight. So all of their personal best runs, they probably had, like, some of them had 3,000 plus gigabytes of uploaded footage, and now all of a sudden they only get 1,000 gigs. So they had to go through, a lot of them had to just go out and like buy hard drives and enclosures for them and download and copy all that footage to a local hard drive, and now they have to store it elsewhere. They had to basically waste a whole weekend, lose a bunch of work, you know, time that they could have been live making money. So Twitch is clearly not doing so hot right now. But here's the thing. Amazon. Yeah, here's the thing. Twitch doesn't make money. YouTube doesn't even make that much money. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that YouTube at best breaks even most of the time? Because the amount of money they have to spend on storage, Google has like 18 football field sized data centers in the United States alone. 18. And it's literally just a gigantic fucking warehouse, hard drives, all rigged up together as far as the eye can see. And they lose money because there's no limits on how much you can upload. The only way that YouTube can make money is if they're paid to do promotions. This is why if you log into a YouTube account and you're not signed in and you go to things like the trending tab, you'll see the same fucking people. Mr. Beast, you'll see Sniper Wolf, you will see, or SS Sniper Wolf, you'll see NFL highlights, NBA highlights, fucking Jimmy Kimmel clips, you'll see Jimmy Fallon clips, you know, late night TV show. Basically, network TV pays YouTube to put their videos on the trending tab. We've known this for a long time, but it's absolutely true. God, I need water so bad, dude. Yeah, it's not profitable. YouTube as a business model is not very profitable. They have to revenue split with all their partnered uploaders. They barely make any money. YouTube is the top 3 most visited site in the world. That data is insanely valuable to Google. Yeah, that's where they make money. But again, because of how expensive all the overhead is, because there's dipshits out there that are uploading 10-hour-long memes of like SpongeBob doing the fucking worm. SpongeBob does the worm interrupted by the Hell's Kitchen sound effect for 10 fucking hours, you know, in 4K. So they're just filling up the data centers with absolute slop and costing Google a shit ton of money. And they just won't do anything about it, dude. They can't. Like, they've established that there's no limits. And after all this time, if they were to introduce one, that would be fucked up. So, who knows? But yeah, I also remember a long time ago at one of the developer conferences, someone very high up in Google was like, no, Google does not sell your data, and we take our user privacy very seriously. Lo and behold, it comes out that like their primary business model is selling user data to advertisers so that they can know how to do targeted advertisements towards certain demographics. And then they come back and say, well, yeah, of course, that's like our primary business model. You guys didn't know that? Okay. I need some water. Let me grab some water. Be right back. 1 second. All right, we're back. I got some alkaline water. We're chilling now. But yeah, bottom line is, as soon as you sign up for any of these sites, you basically should accept the fact that your data is out there. The things that you search for, anything that you manually, especially anything that you manually type in and didn't just click on that the algorithm showed you, it's all out there. Just accept it. It's a done deal. There's nothing you can do about it. Alkaline, yeah. What's the problem, Pitt? Are you gonna say I'm a height beast? Are you gonna say I'm a height beast? Because you wouldn't be wrong. At least I'm not paying for Liquid Death anymore, though. That was when I was a real hype beast. But yeah, the reality is just paying for a premium for basically no reason. Well, this is not expensive alkaline water. It's Walmart alkaline water. The thing that I notice is it actually helps a little bit with digestive issues. I don't see any earnings report on YouTube as far as profit. Yeah, I mean, there's not actual numbers in terms of profits that you can find like year over year, but it's all about like the cost of running it versus how much they make, obviously. But it's just been like a well-known thing that they make billions, but it also costs them billions to run it. And people have just kind of generally looked at those numbers and been like, wow, they don't really make all that much money at the end of the day. Yeah, like this article here from Variety says YouTube Q4 ad sales hit record 10.5 billion. The parent Alphabet, which is Google, projects 75 billion in capex spending amid AI arms race. So they made 10.5 billion in ad revenue, but they're spending a projected 75 billion amid an AI arms race. You see what I mean? It's like, yeah, they make a crazy amount of money, but they spend that multiple times over on R&D for other things. So and that's 2024. That's obviously driven by things like the election and different stuff like that. In a standard year, it's probably far less than that. Oh, what's up, Walter Sullivan? The man himself. Welcome back, dude. People were legit waiting for you last stream. They're like, "Where's Walter, dude?" Like, I don't know, man. He's you know, he's just doing what Walter does. He's a very mysterious guy. Finishing up some sacraments. I know how it is, dude. Sometimes you just got a ritual going and you just gotta get it done. There's no way around it. Yeah, I also, you know, I'm starting to see, like I was talking about last stream, some really disturbingly accurate AI shit. Speaking of AI, I think that we're entering this era now where we're going to start seeing deepfakes get very, very convincing. Like, so convincing that people are going to have to be coming up with alibis. That's when shit's really going to get scary. When you can just go to a website and tell it to generate a video of something that is so convincing. Like right now, AI is pretty obvious. It's clear, like the backgrounds are really blurry and the shit that they have people say and do is very stilted and weird. It's still pretty obvious when an AI video is bullshit. But I'm thinking more of like a deepfake situation where there's like security footage of a person robbing a convenience store and they deepfake your face over the person committing the crime. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's where we're headed sooner rather than later. And that's when shit's going to get crazy because you're going to have to start coming up with an alibi. Like, where were you when this happened? And if you don't have a viable one, or if you just happened to be asleep or didn't have any activity on your phone when it was happening, then there you'll be. The hands. Yeah, the hands are a big indicator. But who knows, man? Like, it's fucking crazy. And every major Silicon Valley tech company seems to be just speed running AI as hard as they possibly can right now to advance it as quick as possible, while also talking about the potential downsides. It's like, well, you can't advocate for it as hard as you do and put billions toward it and try to advance it as quickly as possible and then try to preach to us about how dangerous it is. You're part of the problem. Where do I see Twitch in the next 5 years? Same, dead, gone, or better? I see Twitch as a significantly less gaming focused platform. I see that right now. Who are like the top streamers on Twitch? Kai Cenat, Asmongold, Hassan. What the fuck do any of them have much to do with gaming? Not nearly as much as before. I would argue their primary content is not gaming. Some of them, yes. Like Asmon and Hassan do occasionally play games. Kai does occasionally play games. But the bulk of what they do is not games anymore. And I think that's the direction that Twitch is heading in. It's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of people doing podcasts. It's going to be a lot of IRL streams. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I actually bought that the other day. I've been meaning to play it. Isn't that a Harlan Ellison? Joint. Yep. Let me see. Where'd that end up going? Yeah, I still have it. I never played it, but yeah, Harlan Ellison's I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So, yeah, Twitch in 5 years, I think it's going to be very political. I think political streaming will dominate this platform. I think it's going to be very podcast based, long form conversations. I think it's going to be obviously the major players like the Maximilian dudes will still be there, the ones that built their brand on gaming. But I think that Twitch is going to largely become focused on IRL in the next 5 years. Do I think it would be better or worse? Well, that's relative, isn't it? That's based on what you think. If you're like me and you grew up as Twitch being a gaming-centric platform, it's going to be weird, but who am I to say that it's inherently better or worse? I don't know. The platform's going to evolve the way it's going to evolve, and my thoughts and opinions on that are going to have very little bearing on what ultimately happens, but seeing it go from, you know, a lot of like 20 to 25-year-old guys playing World of Warcraft and shit to what it is now, it's pretty fucking different. There's a lot of like e-girls on Twitch now, like I think Pitt or somebody else was talking about it last stream, but there's like a lot of former porn stars that are on Twitch now. You know, there's a lot of streams where some people literally just do nothing but open up gifts that they got in their PO boxes. So Twitch has evolved a lot in the time that I've been on it. But I do think that gaming will always be a part of it, especially when big games like GTA 6 get released and things like GTA RP, where just everybody seems to want to get in on it, even rappers and people that have nothing, like they're not even gaming adjacent in the slightest. They want to get on and play GTA RP. So I don't know. And who even knows, dude? Like with Twitch giving us all these warning signs where with laying people off and getting out of South Korea and introducing an arbitrary gigabyte upload limit for highlights, who knows? They may not even be here in 5 years, dude. Who the fuck knows? I hope that Amazon doesn't choose to go that route, but who knows, man? I mean, there were a lot of people who had made like partner on Mixer, and Mixer just overnight decided to fucking disappear, and all those people ended up losing their jobs. So it's happened before. And there were a lot of Twitch competitors that existed where people were partnered on those platforms too, and they shut down overnight. One thing I will say is that if Twitch shuts down, Kick is going to become the main option, which is crazy to think about. Kick and YouTube would become the main streaming platforms if Twitch ever shut down. Right now, the biggest thing that Twitch has going for it is that it's an Amazon-owned company. Amazon.com is the parent company of Twitch, and therefore they have access to Amazon's cloud servers or cloud-based servers, and just a shit ton of money, like oceans and oceans of money, if they ever needed access to it. So if Twitch ever decides to like completely clean house with like their senior leadership or whatever and just go in another direction to try to become a more profitable company, Amazon is well within their rights to do that. I'm not saying that's necessary. But you know, if shit doesn't change and Twitch keeps giving us all these warning signs that they're not doing so hot, something drastic might change on this website. But you know, I remember when Amazon just sold books. Yeah. Wasn't that like the very first product category they ever had? Here, let's switch back to the good old fashioned chat because we can actually see the emotes on here. I hope it stays. Yeah, I really enjoy Twitch as a platform, and I've said before that I think the number one thing that Twitch has just nailed to a fucking T is the sense of community. Twitch has such a strong sense of community to it that even though I don't necessarily know some of the other horror streamers, I know of so many people in their communities that it feels like I'm a part of it. You know what I mean? And I don't think any other streaming platform has just nailed it the way that Twitch did. Twitch has done an excellent job. They did a great job with bits as a way to combat chargebacks and falsifying chargebacks on PayPal. They've just done a great job in a multitude of ways. And I don't think anybody could really deny that. So it's important to remember that, you know, although Twitch has a shit ton of downsides, it's done some things very well. 1 second. Sorry guys, had to knock out a couple things. Had to be an adult for a second, and I had to literally pay some bills. Apologies for that. Being an adult is cringe as fuck, dude. Holy. Honestly, just take me back to booting up my PS2 on a fucking weekend, and I didn't have to think about fucking bills and shit. When the toughest decision I had to make during the day was whether or not I wanted puffy Cheetos or curly Cheetos. That was some good shit, dude. That was good times. Or I just had to choose between regular or Cool Ranch Doritos. Regardless, they were getting eaten. It just depended on what flavor I wanted. I love that emote. Dude, who is Candy Quartz? They have some fucking goated emotes. The Walter one and the dog DJ? How do I not know who Candy Quartz is? They clearly are. Oh, they're live right now. What the? Just a girly taking pics of ghosts. Oh, I have a Prime sub. I'm dropping it. I'm dropping it because I need to yoink the emotes. Let's go. I'm gonna do it. I just posted in her chat, your emotes are goated. Oh, she's on a BRB. I was like, wait, that's the song that I use. That's the ending song of Silent Hill 1, by the way, the status screen. Alright, well, I said her emotes were goated. And I'm dropping a follow. So, I've done my part. She's playing Fatal Frame 3. Ooh, you know what, guys? I know she's significantly larger than me, but I think I have an idea here. I'll have to keep an eye on it to see when she comes back, though. Anyways, yeah, so I have some really cool videos in the works, you guys. I know you're probably tired of me yapping about this, but one of them, Walter, you would appreciate this too. I'm going to be working on a video that it shows all the connections between Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3. All of them. Everything, every similarity, every motif that's shared between the two games, every story reference that's shared between the two, all the order of the weapons you pick up, how both games start with a scripted sequence where you die and then the main character wakes up in a restaurant or cafe. Like, all of that is going to happen. And I'm actually collaborating with another person in my community about that. His name is Future Mute. He's an excellent editor. I don't know exactly how we're gonna like split the workload, but that should be really fun. So we're definitely gonna be getting it, so to speak. Nah, I did not know that Harry and Heather were related. It's so crazy to me to think about the fact. Well, I want to show you guys this comment, by the way. This is like a goated YouTube comment because it's so insightful and it's the antithesis of what you would expect a YouTube comment to be. So how often is it that YouTube comments are either just talking shit or being like, good video. This right here is such a great comment. I love this shit. Right here, this guy says, it's such a miracle. Yeah, it's such a miracle in and of itself. The fact that a bunch of second-rate Konami designers got put in the basement of KCET back in the second half of the 90s, tasked to make a competitor to Resident Evil, and ended up spawning one of perhaps the most important game franchises for the industry in terms of inspirational potential, to the effect of permanently scarring generations of players and players to developers, musicians, filmmakers, artists, where this legacy of a mind space place that is best described as comfort in horror is looming over countless people throughout the world to this day and keeps bringing in new followers. Anyone, and who knows how much, or for how much longer. And they did it with just 4 games in the measly time span of 5 years. To leave a mark such as this in a short span of time is extraordinary, to the point where Resident Evil, a competitor, can never really achieve the same level of psychological penetration due to it being a much, much simpler form of entertainment it represents. Like, that is so perfectly said. I could not have worded that any better. I would agree. Yeah, I mean, how many modern games were heavily inspired by Silent Hill 2? Like Visage, The Medium, everything Bloober did before Silent Hill 2 Remake was heavily inspired by it. I would argue it is the most influential horror game of all time. The only close second would be the PS1 trilogy of Resident Evil. Yeah, tons of indie horror is based on Silent Hill, and in particular 2. You know, 2 just seems to be the one that really does it for everybody. And again, I've made my stance on that clear. I give it the number 3 spot just because I appreciate the way that 1 and 3 are interconnected. Hey, welcome back, Kendo. How's the meeting? How do I feel about Max leaving it off the top 10 PS2 list? When did he make that list? Because he did his first blind playthrough of that like 2 years ago. He may not have played it yet. Oh, it was like 4 months ago. Oh, well, he did play it on PC, so I don't know. And he probably put a bunch of fighting games on there, to be fair. Obviously, there would be no Silent Hill without RE, like he said. Yeah, that's true. That's something important to remember as well. Like, Silent Hill was only conceptualized because Konami wanted a competitor to Resident Evil. So, yeah, it's kind of like the whole everything comes from something. You know, everything comes from something in the sense that Resident Evil was a remake of that Sweet Home game on Super Nintendo. And wasn't Sweet Home based on like a real story, a real paranormal story? That was like an urban legend in Japan. So everything comes from something. Resident Evil was supposed to be a remake of a Super Nintendo game. It became its own thing. Resident Evil was Sweet Home mixed with Alone in the Dark, yeah. And I was talking to Dr. Red about this. It's so fucking funny how in Resident Evil 1, the story is so Japanese. Like, Barry Burton puts his wife and his daughter at risk. He almost lets them die because he's so concerned about whether or not the STARS team is going to lose face. He would rather his wife and child die than the STARS team lose honor. Like, what the fuck, dude? Any sensible person would make the other decision, but it's like a very Japanese mentality of like honor and discipline, and it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, he only wants to get rid of the tyrant because it would make STARS look bad if they don't take care of the problem while they're there. It's like, dude, forget it. Wesker was the captain of STARS and he's a fucking double agent. Forget the honor thing. There's no honor. Konami dropping the ball with PT gave RE7 the room it needed to revitalize the franchise. True. Very true. And anybody that would say RE7 is not heavily inspired by PT is just not being honest. It clearly is. I mean, the first person perspective, the FOV being super close and narrow, everything about the intro sections of RE7 screams PT, especially the hallways and stuff. I can't believe there's people that try to allege that it wasn't inspired by that. I mean, clearly there were other influences too, like the movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead, Blair Witch. There's a lot of them, but I mean, PT is clearly massive. Yeah, the derelict house footage, the hallway where you first encounter Jack. Never heard of PT until this stream. Oh, you mean the playable teaser? Yeah. Well, it's because Konami tried to do what they could to squelch any conversation about it, and something weird that happened.
Did you hear that? Like with context, I was like, I hear it. And then what I was doing, like I just did it. It was okay. This would be gross if eye stuff freaks you out. I'm gonna describe.
Okay. Well, anyway, so the playable teaser was released in 2014, I believe. It was like it wasn't a PlayStation Experience because I don't think they had that yet. That was Candy Quartz's stream. She was talking about something crazy that apparently happened. But basically, after the Silent Hills project fell through, Konami went in full erasure mode, and there were people that, like PT, immediately got delisted from the PlayStation Store. You couldn't even download it anymore. And so naturally, people that still had that on their PlayStation 4, they were like, oh, I'm going to go to eBay and say that it still has this exclusive app that you can no longer get. And Konami was even going as far as to reach out to eBay and give them like a cease and desist to make sure that people couldn't list PlayStation 4s that had the app. Like they were going scorched earth to make sure that it didn't get anywhere. I met Norman Reedus at a HorrorCon a couple years ago and asked him about it, and he said he still couldn't talk details. Yeah, it's probably all like it's probably all like contractual bullshit that they weren't allowed to speak about the project, and they're probably still under that contractual obligation because it was probably like a 10-year thing. Who knows? But I guarantee you there's probably some legal reason that he can't talk about it anymore. He's probably like got an NDA about it or some shit that never got absolved. But I would love it. Dude, I would love if one day Kojima was just fully allowed to talk about everything that happened and he just gets on camera and fucking drops all the receipts about what happened to PT. God, that would be the craziest content for us Silent Hill fucking fiends like us. Like, dude, I would go insane if he ever did that one day, just because I've always wanted to know, like, what the hell happened with Silent Hills. It seemed like the train was full speed ahead. We were all so fucking excited for this game. It seemed, like I said, the train was full speed ahead, and then one day, completely out of nowhere, just, oh yeah, Silent Hills got canceled, by the way. No future plans for anything else to come about from it either. Yeah, Silent Hill F looks great. Not to plug, but I made a video about the ESRB leak. So basically, the ESRB rating summary got released, and if you guys want spoilers, you can have them, but mild spoilers ahead, okay? So there was your warning. The ESRB rating summary talked about some of the weapons and some of the imagery, and it's pretty graphic. Like, very, very graphic. They talk about a woman chainsawing her own arm off in a vision. They talk about, like, entrails and sinew being on display in a fantastical celebration. Like, really graphic shit. And then they talked about the weapons being an axe, a crowbar, and a spear. But they did not mention guns, very interestingly. So it's possible that this might be the first Silent Hill game with combat, but no guns. And it's only the 1960s. It's not like they wouldn't have had access to guns, but, you know, you are playing as, like, I'm assuming a schoolgirl from the footage. Maybe a 17, 18-year-old girl. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's why there's no guns. I don't fucking know. I mean, hey, if Heather can use a pistol, a submachine gun, a shotgun, what's the problem? Who doesn't love a sinew celebration every now and then? Well, Walter would say something like that, wouldn't you? You freak. You clown. But you got the job done. In the last playthrough we did, you succeeded, dude. So I can't even talk shit. I talked shit and I got hit. You know what I'm saying? Alright, guys. Well, I was gonna raid Candy, but apparently she had like a pseudo-medical emergency going on. So I don't wanna interrupt or bother her too much with that. So you already know where we're going. We're going to Gummy Lotion stream. Gummy is doing some art commissions. She's a fucking amazing artist that did some of my emotes. Like this one. And also this one. So drop her a follow. If you got a Prime, drop her a Prime. Tell her I said hi. I'll be there as well. But either way, I'm going to break the chains on room 302 and free everybody in 3, 2, 1. I will second.